And down on the field, the Green Bay Packers have won the toss. They have elected to receive. That means Joe Danello will be kicking into a 15-mile-per-hour wind. Number 29 is Mike McCoy. Number 25 is Harlan Huckleby. And we're about ready to get it underway. Danello kicks it deep. He doesn't usually go into the end zone. He kicked this one almost out of New Jersey. So Joe Danello, George, has been practicing hitting the ball on the ground, but he really popped that one.
Yes, he got a line drive, and in the back part of the end zone, no chance to return it.
So the Green Bay Packers coming in under Lynn Dickey, who has passed for over 2,000 yards this year for the first time in his career. And his favorite receiver would have to be James Lofton, number 80, the wide receiver. And we'll see what the Pack can do now. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line as you look at Dickey's numbers. Run to Thompson going wide right. Lofton is wide left. In motion is the tight end Larson, and he'll give it to Jerry Ellis trying to get outside, and the Giants stack him up. McGriff hit him from behind, and Wolford came over to nail him for sure. Let's take a look at the men who will be handling the football. The running backs are Jerry Ellis and Eddie Lee Ivory. The wide receivers, James Lofton and Andre Thompson and Paul Kaufman, or in this instance now Larson. That's Bill Larson, number 87, the tight end. Up front, Stokes and Goforth, McCarron, the veteran, center, Harris, and Cook. So they perhaps picked up a yard to make it 2nd and 9. Larson, the tight end in the backfield, off a wing, so they have 2 tight ends, Kaufman on the right side, and Larson goes in motion. Dickey rolls left, throws left, broken up, intended for Lofton, and Mike Dennis right there to break it up. A good defensive play by Mike Dennis.
A great play by Mike Dennis. Here's a partial rollout. The ball floats just a little bit. Watch Mike Dennis come in and break it up. Knocked it down with his left hand. That's the proper hand to use. You can reach farther across the body with it.
So on a 3rd and 9, the Pack trying to get something going. This time they have Ron Cassidy go wide right. They have Andre Thompson, in time James Lofton in a slot left. The backs are Ivory and Ellis. Both backs release, and Dickey is smothered. And coming in to get him was Myron Lapka. Lapka dropped him, breaking through, the rookie out of USC.
Ben, here it is. But all of this is because they did not control 1st and 10. They picked up 1 yard on 1st and 10. He came up 2nd and 9. The reason for the Packers' success the last 4 weeks is they have controlled 1st and 10 and picked up 4 or more yards.
So now David Beverly, who is averaging a little better than 38 yards a kick. Deep for the Giants, Alvin Garrett. Garrett standing on the Giant 45-yard line. Beverly from the 2 gets it away from the rush. Garrett lets the ball hit as it crosses midfield, and it will be down by Green Bay inside the 50 at about the Giant 48-yard line, and the Giants will put it in play.
The Giants look like they're not celebrating last week's victory. They've been very aggressive. They got tremendous field position right now to do something.
This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the New York Giants and the National Football League is prohibited. On the sideline, Andre Thompson, who figures to be busy today, taking a moment's respite, and the Giants from midfield put it in play. Phil Simms with his running backs both staying into block, and Simms is going deep to Gray. Ernest Gray, touchdown.
Well, here it is. We talked about 1st and 10. He had 2 tight ends, good protection. He runs a fly pattern, an up pattern, all the way. Perfect throw, perfect catch.
He really gave a good fake, and Estes Hood played him so loose that he just went right on by Hood, who was never in the play. Joe Danello has kicked 17 out of 18 points. The The spot, the hold by Brunner. It is good, and it is 7-0. Giants will take one fleeting look. Estes Hood on the left side will be charged with handling Gray. He couldn't do it. Another look at Ernest Gray's 6th touchdown catch of the year.
Well, Ben, he ran a plain up pattern, a fly pattern. He just outran the defense. The Giants picked up 50 yards on 1st and 10. We've been talking about how important 1st and 10 is in this game, and that's what Sims did last week against Dallas. He threw the ball very effectively.
That was not the longest touchdown pass of the year for Phil Sims. He connected with Johnny Perkins for a 58-yard touchdown earlier, but he'll sure take it. So Joe Dinello, with 13:23 left in the first period, kicking off, leading 7-0. And again, he kicks it high, but this time not deep, and it'll be taken by Mike McCoy at the 11. McCoy upended at the 20-yard line. Alvin Garrett down there to cut his ankles out from under, and McCoy is shaken up as he is on his left side, and it is his right leg or ankle injured on the play.
You know, Ben, I never wanted to use my regular players, if I could help it, on kickoff returns or kickoff coverage. Just for that reason, you could lose one of your good cornerbacks, which would offset everything else you might gain by having them on the teams.
Alvin Garrett is only 178 pounds, but all 178 hit the right ankle of Mike McCoy and upended him, so timeout on the field.
Well, Dinello kicked that ball. You talked about the first kickoff. He kicked it deep in the end zone last time. This last kick was more like Dinello kicks. A shorter kick, not too much hang time, but good coverage.
Mike McCoy, 5 years with the Pack from Colorado, and they need him desperately, and as he comes off under his own power, but he's limping. We have a moment. Let's look at the Giants in that 3 up front nose alignment. George Martin, who even played offense last week and scored a touchdown pass to the tight end, along with Curtis McGriff and Gary Jeter.
Now let's see what Lynn Dickey does on 1st and 10.
There are the linebackers in that Giant 3-4. 1st and 10 for Dickey. The third back is Eddie Lee Ivory, and the Giants will stack him up. A loose ball after the whistle, long after the whistle. Lynn Dickey, of course, is a great story. Back in November of 1977, he suffered a broken leg against the Los Angeles Rams. He was out virtually for 2 years. He had 3 operations. He also had a major hip injury back in 1972. He has come back in great style. As you see the Giants secondary, he will try to exploit today. Ivory and Ellis behind Dickey. Lofton is left, but they're going to try Jerry Ellis, and he makes a good cut across the 35 for the first down. Jerry Ellis, who ran for 83 yards against San Francisco. And you like him, George?
I do. I like Ellis. You know, he looks like he's not doing very much. But when you look up and see the yard markers moving, now here he reads his blocks pretty good and cuts back and picks up good yardage. Breaks a tackle. He must be real strong in the legs and through the hips, because in the games I've seen, he makes yardage after he's hit.
Jerry Ellis was a 7th-round draft choice, cut by the Rams and picked up by the Packers. With Aranda Thompson in motion, they'll try Eddie Lee Ivory, but the Giants belled him at the 35-yard line. McGriff, Jeter, and Van Pelt all coming in to make the hit. On the sidelines, that valuable right ankle of Mike McCoy being taped. And, of course, there's a lot at stake because they need McCoy's experience on that right corner. Wiley Turner, who would help McCoy, is pretty well banged up. Meanwhile, the Saints on a 26-yard touchdown pass to Manning to Chandler, leading Atlanta 7-0, and that's a big game for the Falcons. The Rams are playing at New England, and the Falcons are leading that division by 1 game. I believe did get back in time. The pass over the middle to the tight end Kaufman, and he takes it across the Giant 45 down to the Giant 44-yard line. Paul Kaufman.
That's a drop back pass. Dickey has good pass protection. I like Kaufman. I think he's a very underrated receiver. He finds the open spot, puts the ball away, protects it, picks up the first down.
Paul Kaufman caught more passes than any tight end in the NFC last year, so look for him to be busy today. Second man, and that's Ivory, bumped shy of the 40-yard line. He'll go down at the 41, so he picked up maybe 3 yards on the carry.
Well, so far,
Carried by Ivory.
the Giant defense has controlled 1st and 10. And as we mentioned earlier, Dickey has been very effective on 1st and 10, throwing the ball, quick screens, running the football.
In case you joined us a little late, on a 1st and 10, Phil Simms threw a 50-yard touchdown pass to Ernest Gray, and the Giants are leading 7-0. Lofton wide left. Thompson goes wide right. Whoa! Kaufman offside as they pass to Lofton for a first down. And now let's see whether Kaufman had been drawn off or not. But Kaufman, the tight end on the right side, very much in motion before the snap.
That's a lack of concentration. That penalty cost them a first down. Now, you'll kind of forget about that as the game goes along. That type of play can cost you the football game. You can't make mistakes like that. Here comes Bill Larson in 87.
So Kaufman, a tight end, number 82, along with Bill Larson, number 87. And the Pack with a 2 tight end offense now back on the Giant 45-yard line where it is 2nd and 11. Lofton comes wide right. Thompson goes left. And the tight end now, Kaufman on the right side, Larson on the left, and that puts Ellis all alone behind Dickey. And a little screen to Ellis, but the Giants read it. He fights his way anyway for a couple, but he got from the 45 maybe to about the 42.
There's that quick screen, Ben, we talked about. And this guy, Ellis, again, doesn't look like he's a good runner, but now watch him read his blocks, cut back, and make extra yardage after he's hit. Ben, I never worried too much about a two tight end offense. I like the defense set. They got Larson and Kaufman in there, and I think that's an advantage to the defense, especially against the pass.
3rd and 9 for the Packers on the Giant 43-yard line. Ron Cassidy is wide left as he just came into the game, and Dickey going deep in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, James Lofton. So they'll go to a 4th down punt situation.
You know what happened there? They had Lofton doubled inside and outside. We used to call that POW coverage, in and out. And Dickey throws the ball just a little bit behind him. Now watch it. There it is, just a little bit behind him. Couldn't hang on to it.
David Beverly will be punting. He's averaged 38 yards a punt, but he's kicked 15 of his 56 punts inside the 20.
He's a good punter.
Alvin Garrett standing deep on the 10. Beverly gets it away, and Garrett will have a chance to let it hit behind him. It's hit on the 5-4, and it goes into the end zone.
Well, nobody down there. Somebody should have been down there to down that football.
So Garrett gambles, lets the ball bounce, and he got away with the gamble as it rolled into the end zone. So we have 9 minutes and 1 second left in the first quarter. 7-0 New York. On a 7-yard pass, Ron Jaworski to tight end Keith Krefley. The Eagles leading the Redskins 7-0. There's 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Interesting note here, as you see the Colts leading the Lions, Curtis Dickey scored from 1 yard out to lead 7-0. We have had 6 minutes of play elapse. Ray Perkins and the Giants have had the ball only 6 seconds, and they lead 7-0. So 6 minutes to 6 seconds, and yet the race not always to the swift. In this instance, a 50-yard touchdown pass from Phil Simms to Ernest Gray. So Ray Perkins and his youthful Giants leading 7-0. Jim Tunney came over and talked to Ray Perkins. We might have an equipment problem. We'll wait and see. George?
You know, the Packer defense has to stop the Giant pass offense. I don't think the Giants can run effectively to win this football game. Packer defense has to pass rush and cover and put the pressure on Simms.
So Simms breaking the huddle on a 1st and 10. He sends Ernest Gray wide right. Mulledy is the tight end on the left side. Leon Perry and Larry Heater the running back. Second man, Larry Heater, in and out of a crowd. He got across the 25, burst out to about the 28th. Larry Heater is a rookie out of Arizona, and he rushed for 69 yards last week against Dallas.
Well,
there are the fellows who will handle the football for the Giants. Heater and Perry in the backfield. Freedy, Gray, and Mulledy, the tight end. 7-0 Giants. Early going. Leon Perry going on a sweep wide left. Douglas turned the play in, and they bring him down as he crossed the 30-yard line. So Mike Douglas, number 53, strung the play out and then turned it in.
but, you know, Vin, I like the way Perry runs. He's a hard runner. He had a good game last week against Dallas also. Picked up a first down.
So from the Giant 20, they now have 1st and 10 as they move the ball to the 31-yard line. Giants leading 7-0 here in the first quarter. Ernest Gray wide right. And again, the tight end, Mulledy on the left side, and Shirk is on the right side. Play action fake to Heater. Sims barely got it away, and no good. Intended for Gray, and it was broken up at the last minute by Estes Hood. Take a look at Ezra Johnson.
You're right.
Putting the heat on Phil Sims.
Ezra Johnson is in there and was a first pick because he can rush the passer. Watch 90, defensive right end. Get away from the blockers and watch him turn it on and get a delivery sack just as Sims threw the ball. Sims is all right. I think he just got hit in the breadbasket.
Ezra Johnson, the fleet-footed pass rusher for Green Bay, from Morris Brown. He had an ankle injury last year. He played in the Pro Bowl in '78. He works for the Census Bureau in the offseason. He was doing more than counting heads on that play. Sims setting up under heat and throws to Mike Freedy, who takes it out of bounds just shy of the 45-yard line, but that's enough for a first down. Freedy caught 7 passes last week.
And we talked to Freedy, and he said that was his favorite route, the out pattern. He had plenty of room. Sims dumped it in there. Didn't have a lot on the ball. He kind of floated it in there. Picked up a first down.
Bart Starr has seen his Packers win 3 and have a tie in their last 6 games. And as Larry McCarron said, the team now looks better than any Packer team he has played on in the last 8 years. However, the Giants are leading 7-0, and they have it 1st and 10 on their own 45. And it's Larry Heater in and out of the crowd again, and he bursts forward to the Packer 49. Heater is 5'11", but when he hits that pack, he looks like he's about 5'2".
Yes, he does. Now, this is from the I formation. It's a lead play where the fullback leads through the hole and blocks anybody. Usually he's looking for the linebacker. And Heater picks up an additional 2 yards just by driving, keeping his legs going. They have picked up 50 yards, 7 yards, and 5 yards on first down.
2nd and 5 for Phil Sims. Freedy goes left. Motion is Ernest Gray. Heater again. And once more, he gets past the line of scrimmage and then takes a good shot from Alderman that drops him in his tracks at about the 46-yard line.
Alderman made a picture tackle, and you said a good shot. That's right. Then he hit him head on, locked his arms, got his shoulder in there. That's the way you like to see a guy hit.
Larry Heater was a 6th-round draft choice with Kansas City, and the Giants picked him up on waivers, and he sure has come on handy. So 3rd and 1 from the Packer 46. 2 tight ends on the left side, Mulledy and Shirk, and they'll go that way with Heater, and a great tackle from behind dropped him. It was Ed O'Neill, who for 6 years was a mainstay of the Detroit Lions. Ed O'Neill grabbed him and brought him down.
O'Neill's been a real addition to the Packers. He shot through there. Nobody blocked him. Shot the gap, read the play, stopped them from making a first down. That was a big play for the Green Bay Packers.
So on 3rd and 1, the Giants unable to pick it up, and on 4th down, Dave Jennings, the premier punter in the league, ready to kick. Going deep is make it Ron Cassidy who will go back on the 10-yard line. There's Cassidy. So Jennings averaging 47 yards a kick. This time trying to go to the sidelines, and the ball will go OB, and they will mark it at about the 12-yard line.
Jennings hasn't had that field position to punt very much, Ben. That's why he hasn't kicked out of bounds. He's been kicking from his end of the field.
So from 5:24 left in the quarter, 7-0 Giants. The Green Bay Packers put it in play 1st and 10 from their 12. On their other 2 possessions, they started on their 20. Lynn Dickey has Andre Thompson wide right. Ellis and Ivory the running back. And it'll be Ellis on a play action. And instead it is Ivory carrying out across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Good fake to Ellis and a handoff to Ivory.
And now here's that 1st and 10 that we talked about. Play action screen, sort of a run screen, short pass where you make the yardage running with the football. And Dickey's most of the time is calling his own plays. They used to send him in. Zeke Bratkowski used to call him. There's Zeke on the sidelines.
So Bratkowski sent in a winner. And they moved the ball quickly out to about the 27-yard line, 1st and 10. Here comes Jerry Ellis, grabbed by Gary Jeter at the 25 and just about got back to the line of scrimmage.
Ball carried.
We had asked Lynn Dickey before the game about his success on 1st down, which apparently is the key to this Green Bay Packer resurgence of late.
2nd and 11.
And Dickey was saying that one of the reasons is that quick rhythm pass, he called it.
Quick screen. I call it a run screen because you just dump the ball off and let the guy run with it. So it's a run screen.
2nd and 11 from the Packer 27. Ivory and Ellis behind Dickey. Thompson is wide on the right side. Under some heat, Frank Marion drops him inside the 15-yard line.
Well, then he's had pretty good protection. Dickey's had pretty good protection in recent weeks. Now, what the Giants are doing, they're dogging up the gut. They're dogging inside. That was 51, Marion, who's a quick, tough linebacker. Nobody picked him up. Let's see if we can see it. Here's Dickey going back to pass. Here comes 51 in. See, nobody picked him up. It's a 6-man rush. 5 or 6-man rush.
Well, that makes it 3rd and 23 on the 15-yard line. Thompson in a slot right inside Lofton. Cassidy wide left. But they're going to give the ball to Ivory, and he is swallowed up at about the 17-yard line.
Well, so far, Ben, the key to this ball game has been the Giant offense has controlled 1st and 10, and the Giant defense has controlled Dickey on 1st and 10.
Well, once again, David Beverly will be asked to punt. He is kicking with the wind. It's about a 15-mile-an-hour wind. Twin safeties, Garrett and Reese, go back for the Giants, and now Reese comes up about 10 yards short of Garrett. Beverly's longest punt of the year, 55 yards. And David gets it away and hangs it. Coming up is Garrett at the 45 of the Giants, retreating. And Garrett is finally knocked out of bounds, and there's a flag on the play.
Well, you use the word retreat. When you retreat under the present rules, usually you make yourself susceptible to a clip. You're better off to go straight ahead than try to give ground and pick up more yardage, because you end up losing ground or you get a clipping call.
Vicky Ray Anderson, who was down there to block number 44, was most irate when the flag was thrown. Let's see if it was his number that's called by Jim Tunney.
Personal foul, clipping, number 81, during the run back, 1st down.
So the clip against the back. And the Giants now down on the 30-yard line, leading 7-0. The Giants' third possession of the day, 1st and 10 from the Giant 30. It only took them 6 seconds the first time they had the ball to get on the scoreboard. The backs stay into block, and Sims floating it to Gary Shirk, the tight end, and he couldn't hold on to it. It was one-on-one with Jim Gaino, the linebacker.
Yeah, and the reason it was one-on-one is that they were doubling Ernest Gray. Good call by Sims. 1st and 10, play action, a seam pattern to Gary Shirk. He might have had it, but Garner was right in there. Had him covered, got his hand on the ball or ticked the ball.
2nd and 10 from the Giant 30. Freedy, along with Gray, going a slot left. Shirk, the tight end, on the right side. And it's Perry and Heater, the running backs, behind Sims. 7-0 Giants. 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter, and that's Heater in motion to the right. Quick over the middle, in and out of the hands of Ernest Gray. It might have been thrown a little too hard.
Yeah.
The temperature today is 42 degrees, and your hands get to be like boards out there.
I think Sims called an audible there. The Packers dogged. The Packers jumped into a 6-man rush, and it looked like Sims called an audible.
Duck in a score. The Steelers on a 10-yard pass. Bradshaw to Jim Smith, leading Cleveland 7-0. 14 minutes left in the second quarter in that game. Sims trying to get something going now. Has Gray in a slot left again. Taking a deep drop, then throws to Shirk, the tight end, makes the catch at the 45, and that's enough for a first down.
Ben, that's what happens when you blitz or you dog, and this is what the Packers are doing. Here you can see it. The Giants picked it up. Now it's a one-on-one race. Sims has the protection. Rifles it in there to Shirk. First down. Under present rules, it's very difficult to cover one-on-one.
Sims is 3 for 6 for 79 yards and a touchdown. He has it 1st and 10 on the Giant 45. Ernest Gray is right, and they hand off instead straight up the middle as Sims decides to vary the attack a little bit, and Heater making the carry. The Duck-in scores, and take a look at that Saints Falcon. Tim Mazzetti kicked a 19-yard field goal, so it is 7-3 Saints. 6:48 left in the first quarter. The Eagles and Washington. Jaworski has just connected for his second touchdown pass. This one to John Spagnola, and they're leading Washington 14-0 in the first quarter. 2nd and 5 from the 49, and it's Heater straight ahead for a couple of yards, but he has to get to the 45-yard line of the pack to get a first down.
You know, Ben, I'm sure you see it too. This Giant team is playing with much more confidence and enthusiasm than the last time we saw them play. They really are coming off the ball. They're running hard. Sims is on offense. He's not negative at all. 1st and 10 has been dynamite so far for him.
Well, we have 45 seconds left in the first quarter on a 3rd down play. 3rd and about 2. And it'll be Heater trying to get outside, but they bring him down. Steve Luke, number 46, the first man to hit him. Luke making a good play, getting help from Jim Gaino. So Phil Sims frustrated and disappointed. He had that 3rd and 3, and he couldn't move it.
And Green Bay stopped them twice now in short yardage. They stopped them 3rd and 1, 3rd and 1.5, and they stopped them 3rd and 3.
Were you surprised that he went wide?
Yes, yes, I was. I think when you got short yardage, you go straight ahead with your best back. Don't take a chance on getting a loss.
Dave Jennings will be kicking to Ron Cassidy, who is standing on the Packer 15-yard line. Time evidently has run out in the first quarter. So the first quarter is history from Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands. The Giants 7 and Green Bay 0.
Here's another Radio Shack Christmas gift idea. This year, thrill the kids with our amazing radio.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Ford Trucks. The trucks built Ford tough and built for fuel economy. And by Alcoa, producer of energy-saving aluminum.
Start of the second quarter, 7-0 Giants. Dave Jennings, once in his career, punted 72 yards. That was against Dallas years ago. His longest this 63. Ron Cassidy on the Packer 15-yard line. Just did get that away. Cassidy letting the ball hit, and the Giants are down there to down it. Larry Heater downs it inside the 10-yard line.
Well, that could have gone either way. The Packers had a punt rush on, and Jennings kicked the ball away from the defender. Now watch him.
Here's Casey Merrill coming in out of the right side, right there, just missed it.
And the Giants got down and downed the kick. And that's what you have to do.
That's Ernest Gray. The first time the Giants got the ball, he caught a 50-yard touchdown pass, his 6th touchdown catch of the year. And the Giants are leading 7-0. No wonder he's smiling. 1st and 10 from the 9 for the Pack, and let's see what Lynn Dickey can do. They'll go to Jerry Ellis, and Ellis still on his feet, moves the ball across the 15, out to about the 18-yard line. Scorpan hit it first, and Wolford was at the bottom.
Well, that was a pick-a-hole play from the fullback spot. Now watch 31 Ellis start wide in a slant, read the blocks, and then cut back.
Just enough for a first down.
And pick up good yardage. They may have a fine young fullback in this kid. He looks good. He's not an impressive-looking runner, but they're always moving the sticks.
He sure gets the job done. Jerry Ellis, a rookie from Missouri, drafted by the Rams, cut the last cut in practice, and finally picked up by the Packers. Dickey going down the left side, and a good catch by James Lofton, who is pushed out of bounds up at about the 38-yard line for another first down.
Well,
he's a remarkable athlete, isn't he?
He is. He's a tremendous athlete. Last week, as we all know, he played some defense. He could probably be an all-pro defensive back. I like what Dickey did. Dickey went play action, 1st and 10. Lofton drove the defender off. He's worried about his speed deep. Ran the out pattern. Perfect execution.
1st and 10 on the Pack 39-yard line. And they go slot right. Thompson is inside Lofton. And they had Eddie Lee Ivory wide left. Dickey going over the head and hands of James Lofton.
And I think the sun may have bothered them there, Ben. He's looking right into the sun. The ball was high. It looked like it sailed.
Last week, he lost a touchdown pass in the sun against San Francisco.
Here it is. Dickey going back, looking at him all the way. The ball's a little high, and it sailed. And again, he's looking into the sun.
Up north of us on the coast, the Rams on a 10-yard pass from Vince Ferragamo to tight end Victor Hicks, leading New England 7-0 after 42 seconds of the first. Fumble! Jerry Ellis, I believe, fell on the ball. Ellis came back and recovered.
Dickey had a reach for him. He never did get the ball on the handoff.
Fumble recovered.
Here it is. Watch Dickey try to reach for him. Ellis was way too wide. Way too wide. Dickey didn't have a chance.
So that'll make it a 3rd and 13 from the Packer 36. 7-0 Giants. The Pack looking for its first road game victory of the year. And it's the first time they've ever played at Giant Stadium. Dickey getting his protection, throws it low on a bounce intended for Andre Thompson. Mark Haynes over there to defend.
Well, the Giants rushed with 5 men. 5 men. He had pretty good protection. There's Carson on the sideline coming back after being on the injured reserve list.
Interesting, Joe McLaughlin, number 52, played 3 games for Green Bay last year and was picked up by the Giants, so he has something extra going as Lynn Dickey makes his way over to the sidelines. And once again, it'll be David Beverly punting. Alvin Garrett is deep on the Giant 12-yard line on a 4th and 13 from the Packer 36. A lot of time and an end-over-end punt that will hit on the 25, and like a rabbit it darts to about the 16-yard line, and that's where the Giants will put it in play. So with 13 minutes and 14 seconds left in the second quarter, the Giants leading Green Bay 7-0. The The last time the Giants had the ball, they had to start on their own 12-yard line and had to give it up. Now they get it on their own 16, first and 10. They're leading 7-0. Ernest Gray is wide right. Mike Freedy goes wide left. In motion now is Gray. Bo Matthews is in there, and he's going to carry. And he is wrapped up by Steve Luke almost immediately as Alleman came over.
Ball carried.
Interesting for the Giants, they scored 28 points in the first half against Dallas. They hadn't scored that many in the first half in a game since they played the Giants. They had been held scoreless in the first half of 4 of their 6 previous games. They got on the board today the first time they touched the football.
Yeah, usually when you score that many points, then your defense is taking the ball away and giving you good field position.
So 2nd and 8 from the 17. Sims looking to the right side, and he's throwing, and it was deflected, intended for Ernest Gray.
And Ernest Gray was open because Estes Hood fell down. Here it is. 2nd down pass, drop back pass. He's looking at the receiver all the way. Mike Butler deflected the ball. Number 77. I like the Packer defensive ends, Butler and Ezra Johnson. They can rush the passer.
Talking about rushing the passer, another man whose job is to get in there, Casey Merrill, has just come into the ball game. We saw Merrill almost block the punt earlier.
Yes.
He's number 78. We might keep an eye out for him as well. Up front, you have Butler and Merrill, along with Johnson and Terry Jones for the Packers. In motion is Larry Heater to the left. And the pass is over the middle, broken up, juggled, and finally goes on the ground. Too many hands. Mike Freedy had it for a moment. So did Mike McCoy. It was touched, I believe, by Estes Hood. Talk about a hot potato. That thing was smoking.
That Sims tried to gun that ball in there. It could have easily been intercepted. Here it is. He's got the time to throw.
In punt formation.
Butler had that. Or McCoy had that.
And so did Hood. So instead, Dave Jennings will punt again, this time about his 5, so he can get his leg into this. And remember, he's kicking with about a 15-mile-an-hour wind. And he drills it. And going back is Ron Cassidy at the 30, and still going to the 40, and he'll go out of bounds. So Ron Cassidy was able to escape Larry Heater. He was the wideout down under that high punt, and it meant about a 10-yard pickup. Take another look at Freedy. Watch that hot potato. 1 hand, 2 hands, 3 hands, 4 hands. See you later.
On the season.
The Green Bay Packers in their best field position of the day have it 1st and 10 on their own 45-yard line, and they go slot right. In motion is Andre Thompson to the left. They'll go to Ellis, and Van Pelt let him get away. And Ellis is across midfield, across the 45, and inside the Giant 40 when he was grabbed by Van Pelt behind the line of scrimmage.
Boy, I like Ellis. He's elusive. He was hit for a 4-yard loss. Watch this. And he does this on his own. He's a fluid back. This is pretty good contact. He spins away, and now he sees daylight. Mike Dennis came in from the side and popped him. He almost lost the ball.
1st and 10 on the Giant 40-yard line. And Dickey on a quick out to the right side. Andre Thompson makes the reception at the Giant 35 and is dropped in his tracks by Mark Haynes on that side. You know, by the way, it looked like Van Pelt had him in the backfield. We should also throw a little rose to Eddie Lee Ivory, because Ivory threw a block on Van Pelt that dislodged the apparent tackle, and that gave Ellis the door opening that he needed to make that big play.
Well, Dickey is taking advantage of the first field position he's had today.
2nd and 5 on the Giant 35. Here goes Eddie Lee Ivory trying to get around Ellis's block, but Marion is the first man to get to him. Scorpan and Carson, all the linebackers were there to read the play easily, and they'll lose a couple.
You know, Ben, one of the things you have to be careful of is under the present rules that you don't run the football too much. You have to throw the football even if you got a pretty good running game, because if you don't, you can beat yourself running the ball too much.
That's Phil Simms. He would certainly agree with you. So 3rd and 6 on the Giant 36. One burst by Jerry Ellis. And the Packer now trying to ride the crest of that wave. They have Ron Cassidy wide left. Lofton in a slot right inside Thompson. Both backs release. And Dickey going deep. And a low attempt is no good.
Well,
James Lofton couldn't quite dig it out.
Well, he slipped and fell. That was a good throw, and he was open. Here it is, 3rd and 6. Drop back pass. He's watching the receiver all the way. Now watch Lofton slip just as he tries to catch the ball. I think if he had his balance, it would have been a first down because he was open and the ball was accurate.
Beasley Reese unable to contain him. Now let's take a look at Tom Burney. He has kicked 4 of 7 field goals, the longest of his career, 50 yards against San Francisco. The hold by Dickey at the 44, and it's way short and way off to the left. So David Beverly consoling Tom Burney. And Burney a little bit downcast, but remember kicking into a wind, and they were asking to kick a 54-yard field goal. Tough combination. So the Giants visiting on the sidelines. Dave Jennings has been busy punting today, and he'll keep that right leg loose. But the Giants aren't thinking punting. They'll put it in play 1st and 10 on their own 36, and they're leading 7-0. Ernest Gray wide right. Mike Freedy goes left. And the running backs are Matthews and Heater. And they'll go to Heater. And Heater gets out across the 40-yard line, and he did a good job with Mike Butler right around his neck. He was still able to keep going.
Well, the Giants are running the football a little bit better than they thought they might coming into this ball game. They're attacking that 34 defense of the Packers straight ahead with a lead blocker, and that's the way to make yardage on it.
2nd and 5 from the 41. You notice Phil Simms blowing on his hands. It is 42 degrees the last we heard in New York. Beautiful fall day. Simms looking right, and he's going to be hit from behind. Loose ball. It's still loose. Mullity can't pick it up, and it looks like the Pack finally recovered. And they did. Ed O'Neill, the pride of the Lions, now with the Packers, and it's Ed O'Neill making the key recovery.
Well, Simms had plenty of time to throw. The receiver was not open. A great play by Ezra Johnson coming in from the blind side, knocking the ball loose. And one of the biggest shortcomings in pro football is how to recover a fumble. Most of these guys don't know how to recover a fumble. The Packers got it, turned the ball game around now. Great field position. Let's see if he throws on 1st down.
So 1st and 10 on the Giant 23. Phil Simms fumble and the recovery by Ed O'Neill. Play action fake to Jerry Ellis, and Dickey all alone to Eddie Lee Ivory, and he's inside the 5. They'll stack him at the 4-yard line. The Giants' Wolford steals the football, but it doesn't count after the whistle.
Great call by Dickey. 1st and 10, good field position, play action, and he puts the halfback on the linebacker, loops it right in there.
It'll be 1st and goal at the 2 when Wolford came up to help Haynes and Dennis and drive him back. They're going to spot his forward progress just to the 2-yard line. So 1st and goal Packers. The big play, the blind side hit by Ezra Johnson, the recovered fumble by Ed O'Neill, and the Packers trying to cash it in and tie it up. The tight end in motion to the right. They're going to go to Jerry Ellis, and Ellis refuses to go down and brings it in. Gary Wolford had his arms around him, but Ellis, a marvelous no-quit guy, brought it in.
Boy, that Ellis must be strong. He looks like he has his power in his legs and hips. Now here again, he's hit behind the line, a little bit high. You got to. And yet he keeps driving, smells that goal line and scores.
So Jerry Ellis battles it over. Now Tom Burney, who is 10 for 11 in points, trying to tie up the ball game. On a hold by David Beverly. He kicks and it is good. So we have 8 minutes and 15 seconds left in the second quarter. Tom Burney and the Green Bay Packers feeling much better about things. They're even 7-7. The numbers don't tell you that Ezra Johnson blindsided Phil Simms. Ed O'Neill recovered the fumble, and Jerry Ellis busted over from 2 yards out for his 4th touchdown of the year. The wind, which was 15 miles an hour last we heard, has blown the ball off the tee at the 35, so timeout for the moment. Give us a chance to set the Giants offensively. Beasley Reese standing on his 2. He has Garrett on his left, and he has Nate Johnson on his right, and the wind got it again.
Well, you have to have somebody hold the ball.
And that somebody is coming in. Mike McCoy, who, remember, has a bad ankle. McCoy has been dispatched, and Ron Cassidy will come out. So McCoy will nail that thing on the tee. Tom Burney, born in Scotland, trying to kick this thing out of the Meadowlands. And he kicks it to Beasley Reese, and he'll take it on the goal line. To the 10, 15. Stacked up at about the 17-yard line.
Well, that was excellent coverage. He got him inside of the 20-yard line. You don't see that much.
On the tackle.
The Buffalo Bills scoring in the second quarter, leading the Bengals 7-0. A 16-yard pass, Joe Ferguson to Jerry Butler. The Giants, 1st and 10 on their 17-yard line in a 7-7 tie. Perry is back in there with Heater. They'll stay with Larry Heater. And Heater takes a lick from Kurt Alderman, who drives him back on a head-on collision at about the 17.
Well, you know, here it is, 1st and 10. Running the play with the halfback. And a picture tackle again by Alderman. That's the second one he's made. Head on, look at him. Locking his arms. That's the type of tackle Nitsky used to make.
That's an alumni meeting, because ready to hit him was Ed O'Neill. They both came from the home of the linebacker, Penn State. On the 20-yard line, a 2nd down and 7. Sims throwing wide right in a collision intended for Leon Perry.
You know what? In the last 2 passes Sims has thrown, he's had the time, but the Packer secondary is doing a good job of covering. He has no place to throw. Now watch this. He's got plenty of time to throw. Look, he just throws the ball away. That's all.
In a big game just north of us at Foxborough, Massachusetts, Steve Grogan has just thrown a 35-yard touchdown pass to Don Hasselback, and it's 7-7, the Patriots and the Rams. 3rd and 7 for Phil Simms. And down he goes. Mike Douglas came in to blitz him and drop him at the 10-yard line.
Well, the momentum has changed now. The Packers are more aggressive on defense. They're controlling the run and the pass. That sack, that partial fumble when he hit the quarterback's arm by Ezra Johnson has changed this around.
So 4th and 17, Dave Jennings blowing on his hands. A low snap, but he had plenty of protection. A hurried end-over-end kick, crossing the 40-yard line, and now starts to come back, and the Giants will down it at about the 42.
You know, speaking of a low snap, the Giants have gone through 4 snappers this year. 4 different centers. That's really a disadvantage to your punter.
Although Dave Jennings did say it really didn't make any difference to him as long as he could get the ball high or low. Didn't make too much difference. That is in relationship to a field goal kicker who really has a problem.
Yes. That pass was real low. He may have scooped it off the ground.
He's a good one, isn't he, George?
Yes, I think he's the best. I'd put him right in there with Ray Guy.
1st and 10 for Green Bay on the Giant 42-yard line. Lofton is wide right. Larson and Kaufman tight ends on the left side. Eddie Lee Ivory trying to get outside, and Harry Carson and Gary Jeter him before he can get back to the 42. He might have gotten to the line of scrimmage at best.
Well, they haven't done much trying to run wide right side of this Giant defense. Jeter gets upfield, and once you penetrate on a sweep, you're not going to make many yards. In fact, it's 2nd and 10.
The Giants have allowed more than 200 yards rushing to each of their past 3 opponents. They've allowed 8 touchdowns during that period. In fact, they've given up 25 touchdowns, 6 more than New Orleans this year. 2nd and 10 from the 42. And Dickey under pressure from Martin, and down he goes. George Martin putting the heat on him. Dickey tried to cut and hit the rug.
Well, Ben, they're doing what we said earlier. It's a gut dog, what we call a gut dog, up the middle. They run a stunt with it. That's the same way they got the previous sack.
So that'll make it 3rd and 20.
You like, excuse me, Ben, you like gut dogs against quarterbacks that are not too mobile.
And 20.
And of course, Dickey coming off hip injuries and a broken leg in the past. 3rd and 20 on the Packer 48. In motion is Lofton. And Dickey throwing under some pressure, and Andra Thompson comes back to make the reception. He had to come back across the 35, and he actually has to get to the 32 of the Giants for a first down. So they came up a little more than a buck shy.
Yes. And he is throwing under pressure. He's throwing backpedaling, leaning away, and still got the ball in. A heck of an effort by Dickey.
Myron Lapka putting some heat on Lynn Dickey. And so now it is David Beverly's turn. Beverly will be punting into the wind from midfield. Beasley Reese is all alone on the Giants' 7-yard line. 5 minutes left to the half. 7-7 tie and an end-over-end punt, and Reese will let it bounce, and it goes into the end zone.
Well,
Vicky Ray Anderson tried desperately to get down there to down it, but he couldn't catch up to it.
number 20, Wiley, was too deep in the end zone. If he'd have been on the goal line, he could have kept that from going into the end zone. You know what happened on that last play? The Packers actually waited for the Giants to get an extra man on the field. They could have snapped that ball and kicked it with 10 men on the field.
And there's Wiley Turner, apparently annoyed, as you were saying.
Yeah.
If he can duck in a score, the Cleveland Browns, on a 15-yard pass, Brian Seif to Dave Logan, have turned it around, and they are leading Pittsburgh 13-7. Sims on a quick pass on the out to Mike Freedy, and he goes out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
Yeah, short 5-yard out. You use it like a running play. Square out. The ball's right on target. A defensive back has trouble stopping that unless he has a little help from his linebacker.
So Freedy picks up a big 8. You can see the Falcons have taken the lead now, 10-7. A 47-yard pass, Steve Bartkowski to Alfred Jackson. That was the combination that beat the Rams. Larry Heater, upended by Mike Douglas, who hit him high and dropped him.
Well, the Giants, again, I'll repeat, seem to have lost just a little momentum. They came out, they got on the board. The Packers are gradually taking over. You know, when things go wrong, I always felt it's up to the defense to straighten it out. It's up to the defense to make a big play, to get a turnover. Give the offense field position. That's what the Packer defense did today.
3rd and 2 from the Giant 28. Gray goes right, Freedy left, and in motion is Larry Heater. So Leon Perry, the sole back. Butler can't knock it down. The pass completed to Ernest Gray, and he would pick up the first down on that reception. So Sims able to throw the ball over Mike Butler, who is 6'5". You'll see number 77 come in there fully extended, like going over a redwood tree.
Yeah, well, the Giants are using motion to try to get man-on-man, one-on-one coverage.
So 1st and 10 on the Giant 34-yard line, and they go slot right. Gray and Freedy on the right side. Mulledy, the tight end, on the other side. It'll be the second man, Larry Heater, on a quick burst across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Mike Douglas and Kurt Alderman making the tackle.
Well, Sims is gone to running on first down, runs the same type of play, an M. Hunch play where the fullback leads through and blocks usually the linebacker, picking up about 3 yards on the play.
2nd and 6 on the Giant 38. And they'll try slot left this time. And in motion goes Heater. Mike Douglas picks up Heater, the motion man. Sims going in and out of Ernest Gray's hands, and he was covered by Estes Hood.
You know, Heater is being covered by Douglas one-on-one. In that type of situation, what we used to like to do, what I used to like to do, is send your back up the field, because Heater's no doubt faster than Douglas. Now you got a one-on-one situation for a deep play. They'll probably come back to that.
Sims is 5 for 12 for 92 yards and 1 touchdown. The touchdown on the first play of scrimmage, a 50-yard touchdown pass to Ernest Gray. But the game is tied 7-7 now with 2:46 to the half. Sims on a deep drop, now throwing even deeper to Mulledy, the tight end, and he's out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line at about the 41. Big play to Tom Mulledy.
Well, then they double both of the outside receivers, and the linebackers cover 81, Mulledy. Now watch this. Sims waits for him to get open, guns it in there, made a perfect throw, had the time to throw.
From the Giant 38 to the Packer 41 on that pass to Tom Mulledy, who was originally with the Buffalo Bills, and the Giants are on a move with 2:38 to the half. Mulledy in motion to the right. Down the middle, and it is complete to Mike Freedy, cutting across, and he's dropped at the 20-yard line.
You know, a 3-man rush. Watch this. 3-man rush. Good protection. Receiver at the top of the screen. Work into the open space. He guns it in there. Wide open. Makes a good catch.
Mike Freedy was saying that one of his favorite patterns is across the middle.
Yeah.
And when you say to him, isn't that dangerous? Freedy said, I know one of these days I'm going to get popped, but I still like to come across. And he came across today, making a big reception. A rather implacable, unflappable Bart Starr looking on with 2 minutes left.
No.
Bart Starr has seen his Packers go 4-5-1. He has seen them win 3 and have a tie in the last 6, but he has also seen them surrender an opening touchdown to the Giants. And now, after tying it up, they have the Giants coming right back after him again.
And then he's done another thing. He's shown a lot of poise and leadership with a lot of stress and strain on him. And he's doing a heck of a job these last 4 or 5 weeks.
1st and 10 for the Giants on the Packer 20-yard line. Freedy goes wide left. Gray goes wide right. Mulledy, the tight end, is on the right side. Perry and Heater are the running backs. Both backs release. Short pick by Sims into the end zone to Gray. Ernest Gray's 2nd touchdown of the day. Gray, with 2 touchdowns today, he has 7 touchdowns for the year.
Well, I tell you what he's doing. Again, the last 2 downs, he's throwing when he should be. The 3-man rush, 5 men blocking 3, all day to throw. He runs an up pattern. Touchdown, wide open. Same type of pattern he scored on from 50 yards out earlier.
7 touchdowns gets him very close. Harold Carmichael had 8 going into the game today, so he's right up there in the high rent district is Ernest Gray.
Then the key is throw the ball when they expect run. Throw the ball against the 3-man rush. They run the football when you're in a nickel defense against. Here it is again. Look at the protection. He pumps, still doesn't have to throw it. Gives the receiver plenty of time to get open.
It's murder on a cornerback or safety trying to defend.
With the present rules, You can't cover a guy like that.
See how far off Estes Hood was. That's the second time Hood was burned, but again, you get back to the fact there was no pressure on Phil Simms.
1st and 10. That's the best passing down.
So with 1 minute and 55 seconds to the half, the Giants are back out on front 14-7. And don't forget, scores with Brett and Irv, plus that feature at halftime, the changing of the guard. Talking about the young quarterbacks, the resurgence of new quarterbacks in the NFC. Joe Danello kicking high and deep, and it'll be Lee taking it at the 10 to the 20, 25, runs into a traffic jam and finally goes down at the 32. Frank Marion had him by the ankle.
Ben, I like Lee, number 22. He was a second-round pick. I think he has a chance to develop into a good back. He pulled a hamstring early. He was embarrassed against Cleveland. He played the ball rather than the receiver. They got a touchdown the last 5, 6, 7 seconds, but he's got the size and the speed. If he has the determination, the dedication, he can be a good defensive player.
He's only 22.
Yes.
All right, Green Bay trailing 14-7 with 1 minute and 48 to the half. They have it 1st and 10 on the Pack 32-yard line. Cassidy goes wide right. Lofton in a slot left with Andre Thompson. And they're going to set a screen for Jerry Ellis, and Van Pelt is right there to knock the screen down.
And Van Pelt tackled him right around the waist, read it perfectly. By the way, Van Pelt is healthy now, and he's playing like the all-pro he is.
Yes, in fact, last week he had 2 interceptions against Dallas. Each interception led to a touchdown. 2nd down for Dickey, and the back's flaring, and the pass is caught by Andre Thompson, and Thompson gets across midfield at the 49-yard line of the New York Giants.
Well, the Giants went to a 4-man rush in a passing situation. Dickey had the time. Andre Thompson ran a hook pattern.
Timeout for Green Bay. Dickey now is 9 for 14. He needs 3 more completions to give him a dozen for the day, and that would pass John Hadel's record at Green Bay, the most completions in 1 year. Another note to keep in mind would be James Lofton. Lofton has caught 1 pass today. Should he catch 4, he would then get his name in the Green Bay books with Don Hudson.
Boy, oh boy. You know, speaking of Lofton, he's being doubled just about every down. Inside out. And once in a while, front and back, but mostly inside out. And that's what you have to do. That's smart defense by the Giants. You got to stop the home run hitters.
You wonder, when you're double teamed as Lofton is, has been, and always will be, how he could catch 47 passes.
Well, you know, when you talk about records, I think under the present rules, we should have 2 record books. One,
another asterisk, huh?
From 1977 on, and one prior to that, because everybody's throwing the ball more. 300-yard games are common. Used to be if you threw for 300 yards, that was something special.
All right, 1st and 10 at midfield, 1 minute and 11 to the half. Cassidy is left, Thompson is right, and Lofton now is in motion. Dickey getting it away, and the reception is made, and then out of the hands of Andre Thompson. And I believe the Giants have recovered. Andre Thompson had it and lost it, and at the bottom is Wolford, and Wolford, Gary Wolford.
That's a tough break.
Recovery.
Tough break for the Packers. You know what Dickey did here? He sent 80, Lofton in motion, forming a slot. They double Lofton, and he throws to the one-on-one man. See, to Andre Thompson. The Giants were tackling the ball.
Whittington almost had that ball come right into his hand. And now the Giants take it over, 1st and 10 on the 32. 1 minute left to the half. On a draw, they'll go to Larry Heater. Mike Douglas hit him low and dropped him. Jerry Jones hit him high. The point Simms not taking any chances.
Excuse me, Ben. The point I was trying to make is that Dickey threw to the proper man. He probably wanted Lofton first, but they doubled him, so he threw to to the guy that was covered one-on-one, Andre Thompson.
You know what is galling, too, for Dickey? He has thrown 19 interceptions now. He has the lead among NFC quarterbacks. That's a rather unenviable position, although in that instance it wouldn't be an interception.
No.
It was a completion and a fumble, but nevertheless he's been burned all kinds of ways this year.
Yeah, it's another
Turnover.
takeaway for the Giant defense.
Phil Simms talking to Ray Perkins on the sideline. Perkins, of course, played at Alabama under Bear Bryant. He's the 11th Giants head coach.
Speaking, you're talking about turnovers. That the Packers coming into this game were -7 on takeaways and giveaways. And usually if you're negative, it's difficult to have a winning record. The teams that are positive, in other words, have more takeaways and giveaways, are the teams that have the winning records.
You know what's interesting, too, if the Giants can move the ball, for whatever reason, I don't know, but the opposition is extremely effective in field goals against the Packers. You know the opposition has kicked 17 out of 18 tries and field goals against Green Bay this year. I don't know why, but
That's amazing.
yeah, it really is. So from the 32 to 2nd and 11 now on the 31. Gray and Creedy in a slot left. Heater in motion to the right. Perry all alone, and Simms is going to send it up. Instead, he's going to scramble. Throwing on the run and throwing it out of bounds. At the 30-yard line, I don't know who the intended receiver was.
The Packers are complaining. They're right. He threw that ball. There wasn't anyone in the area. The Packers had their nickel defense in, 22. Mark Lee was in there, and everybody was covered. Simms didn't want to run, didn't want to take the pounding, and that was smart. Here it is. Now watch.
I remember the line of scrimmage right there at the 31.
See, there's nobody in that area at all.
The official was wide open.
Yeah. Put a number on the official.
3rd and 11 from the 31. And in motion is the tight end Mulledy. He's picked up by Johnny Gray. Simms, a deep rock, comes up, and this time he can run. There's a flag on the play, and he goes down at the feet of Mark Lee at the 23-yard line.
Boy, Ezra Johnson was pouring in there. Ezra Johnson forced him to run straight ahead. See, he doesn't want to run in this situation. He wants to throw the ball and throw it deep and try to get a big play. See Ezra Johnson coming in there, 2 men on him.
And there's the flag, so evidently it involved a holding call, and it would be against Terry Jones, who was held, and J.T. Turner, number 68, I believe, guilty of a holding for New York. They were double-teaming Terry Jones, and then as he tried to get up off the block, he was held.
Well, the Packers rushing 3 men. When you rush 3 men, you're going to double-team them. You got five or 6 against 3.
There it is, right about there. That's Terry Jones down on his left knee. J.T. Turner would appear to have a grip.
Holding, offense, number 60, 3rd down.
So that makes it a 3rd down, 3rd and 20 from the 22.
Well, you know, the Packers defense might want to use a timeout here and force a punt and go for a block punt if they can stop him right here.
Ernest Gray, wide right. Mulledy and Shirk, the 2 tight ends. Pitch back to Leon Perry to the 25, and he's going to be bumped out of bounds.
Gee.
Mike McCoy came up to bump him once, and that got him off the track.
Bad judgment. He should stay in bounds, keep the clock running. Now they got to punt the ball.
So forgetting, it's one thing to hand a man the football. He's a rookie out of Mississippi, is Leon Perry. Meanwhile, Ron Cassidy is going back on the 30-yard line for Green Bay. The punt down across the 30, inside the 25, and Heater is down there with Reese. Flag on the play, so we'll wait and see.
Cassidy let that ball bounce, and that's something you don't want to do. You let the ball bounce, you lose 15 yards.
On the service level,
Probably a man downfield.
Jim Tunney will give us the call. Preliminary signal looked like perhaps a delay of game.
against the Packers.
Right.
Too many men on the
Yep.
field.
That's what it is.
Defense refused.
Yeah.
Ball
Right.
remained short legs.
Right.
First down, New York.
So it was too many men on the field. The Packers.
You know why that was? A quick snap. The Giants went to a quick snap before the Packers could get their extra man off the field. Caused the too many men in the field.
As you can see, 15 seconds to the half. Dickey has it 1st and 10 on the Packer 23-yard line. Cassidy wide right, and again they'll go slot left with Lofton and Thompson. However, they'll stay on the ground to Jerry Ellis. Gary Jeter grabbed him from behind. Whittington came up at his feet. 5-4, and it looks like the half is history. There it is, halftime at Giant Stadium, and the Giants leading the Green Bay Packers 14-7. The Giants scoring the first time they got the ball on a 50-yard touchdown pass to Ernest Gray. They had possession for only 6 seconds. Then the Packers had Jerry Ellis go over from the 2-yard line after Ezra Johnson had blindsided Phil Simms, and the recovered fumble picked up by Ed O'Neill. And then the Giants came back on a 20-yard touchdown pass by Ernest Gray. So it's halftime at Giant Stadium, and the Giants sitting on top of a 7-point lead. The Giants 14, Green Bay 7.
Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross, and the Dallas Cowboys apparently are still shell-shocked from their upset loss of a week ago to the Giants. The first time today that the St. Louis Cardinals handled the ball. They gave it to big O.J. Anderson, and Irving exploded for 51 yards.
Boy, this big guy carries about 230 pounds, Brent. He's a sprinter. Tremendous run.
And that set up this in their second series. Hart Gray, 69 yards.
Well, I know the Cowboys secondary has nightmares about Mel Gray. Every time they play Dallas, he has a big game, and there he goes for another score.
So it's 14-0 Cardinals right now. Meanwhile, the Patriots, after spotting the Rams 7, come back as Grogan passes for 1 and runs for the second. Atlanta leading New Orleans by 3 at the half. Bartkowski 47 yards to Jackson in that game. And there's the game you're enjoying. The Giants ahead. How about that Sims-Ernest Gray combination? Meanwhile, the world champions apparently are in trouble. They could wind up 6-5 after 11 weeks if they don't come back. And right now they trail the Browns. The Browns missed a very important extra point. Baltimore leading Detroit 10-0 at the half. Curtis Dickey from a yard out for the Colts in that game. Buffalo leading Cincinnati by 7 as Ferguson goes 26 yards to Butler in that contest. Philadelphia has just added a field goal to 2 early touchdown passes by Jaworski ahead of Washington by 17. Cardinals over Dallas. You saw those highlights. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers scored, missed an extra point, trailed the Vikes 7-6. That game, of course, only in the first period. Let's show you some highlights from the Los Angeles Rams and the New England Patriots. It was the Rams striking first, and it was Ferragamo going to his tight end, Hicks.
Really a good play down here inside the 10-yard line, crossing all the way across field, barely gets in the end zone for the score.
Now Grogan back to Don Hasselback for 35 yards and the equalizer.
You don't hear much about Hasselback, but he's a great tight end backing up Russ Francis.
Write it down. Ferragamo has trouble against the 3-4 defense. That extra linebacker causes all kinds of problems. There was Nelson dropping back to the passing zone. He got 33 yards to the LA2, and from there it was Grogan.
Steve Grogan calls his own plays and called his number there for the score.
Worth one more look for you, isn't it? Phil Simms, Ernest Gray, touchdown, New York, the first time they handle it, just like the Cardinals against the Cowboys. But watch this. Phil Simms hit this time, fumble, and the bouncing ball will finally be recovered by Ed O'Neill at Green Bay. Hey, this Jerry Ellis looks like a good runner for the Packers.
I really like him. He reminds me of old Jim Taylor, another 31 for Green Bay years ago. Watch that power.
Here's the combination again. Gray gets deep, and Simms hits him, this one for 20 yards. And it's 14-7 Giants. Meanwhile, it's Ron Jaworski to Keith Krepfle.
Keith Krepfle, a clutch receiver, inside 20-yard line, goes in for the score. They like their tight ends down there. Here, Brent, another throw to Spagnuolo, a backup tight end.
And that put them up by 14 over the Skins. Now, we have some highlights from the New Orleans-Atlanta game, too. The Saints took the kickoff, marched down, and they scored the first time that they handled the ball. It was Wes Chandler who got open, and it was Archie Manning, who's had a terrible season, really, overall for the Saints. Hit him right here.
Manning's have a seesaw season so far, Brent, but I think it's primarily because of their offensive line. Here's touchdown pass number 1, and Bartkowski answers that one with one of his own.
And there goes Bartkowski to Alfred Jackson for 47 yards and the touchdown. And I understand that the Dallas Cowboys have finally done something against the St. Louis Cardinals. They gave up 2 quick touchdowns, but I think we can check in on how Danny White and the Cowboys came back. White is back there in the shotgun, and he's going to wait for the veteran, Pearson. And he's got him 18 yards, and it is now 14-7. And that was a marvelous catch down there. And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local station.
They must have really shaken up Dallas, because Dallas is losing today. We'll have scores on that one a little bit later. But the Giants and the Pack about ready to go at the start of the second half. Lynn Dickey at the wheel, and Dickey's numbers so far, 10 for 15, 135 yards, no touchdowns. Actually, it's the defense that got the Packers the touchdown. That was that hard hit by Ezra Johnson, the Sims fumble, recovered by Ed O'Neill, and then it was Jerry Ellis who finally came in from 2 yards out. But the offense has not really moved the ball that well. Ellis has carried 7 times for 47 yards. The touchdown came from 2 yards. Eddie Lee Ivory has rushed 6 times for 7 yards. That's all.
Going back to that 1st and 10, Dickey and the Packer offense are going to have to do a better job on 1st and 10, because they're coming up 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 10. Now the Giants are coming in with a nickel. They're dogging. They're taking the advantage away.
Beasley Reese is the deep man for the Giants, standing on the 5-yard line. And in a moment, we will get the second half underway from Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands in East Rutherford. That popped up in the air, a short kick. Garrett taking it out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
He caught the ball with his foot on the line. He did the right thing.
I was just going to say, would you prefer to have him do that or let it go out and have him kick again?
I prefer to have him catch it, but be wary of where the line is. He could have picked up 5, 6, 7, 10 yards if he'd have been aware of where the line was.
There are the numbers in the first half. Anything pertinent? Of course, the yards passing for the Giants is somewhat of a shock, but that's balanced by the yards rushing to Green Bay.
Yes.
1st and 10 on the 25 for Phil Sims. He'll try Larry Heater wide to the right, getting some good blocks. Still on his feet, and finally taken out by Kurt Ollerman after he got up to the 33-yard line.
The Packers played that pretty well. Heater just had enough speed to outrun him. It's very difficult to run a sweep and get around the corner against a good defense. Heater outran the strong side linebacker.
They're going to spot the ball almost to the 34, which would make it 2nd and about 2. Ernest Gray in a slot left inside Freeby. Heater again. And he battled his way, and then the loose ball trying to get the second effort, and the Pack has recovered, and it's Johnny Gray who recovered fumble at the 40-yard line.
And the words you use is exactly right. He was stopped, and because of second effort, he fumbles. Here it is. He's continued to drive. The ball's jarred loose, and Gray recovers.
So the Packers get great field position, 1st and 10 on the Giant 40-yard line. But remember, they had it 1st and 10 on the Giant 42 with Johnny Gray getting plaudits on the sideline. Lofton is left and Thompson right. They'll stay on the ground. Eddie Lee Ivory, and he busts across the 35. Frank Marion met him head on. At the bottom was Brad Van Pelt.
I think Steve Luke was the guy that forced that fumble, Ben. It looked like 46 had his hand in there. And we always like to give credit to a guy that forces a fumble.
And how? So they picked up 6. That'll make it 2nd and 4 on the Giant 34. Jerry Ellis trying to get outside. He gave Frank Marion a pretty good straight arm.
That's another thing this guy has. He's had some good coaching, and he's a pretty good athlete. I like to, you know, and of course he's wearing, I think, Jim Taylor's old number, isn't he?
That'll bring back a few memories.
Jim Taylor wouldn't have to straight arm. He'd lower the shoulder. He had a knack of lowering his shoulder and giving you a forearm and ran over you.
So 3rd and 4. In motion is Andre Thompson. Second man, Eddie Lee Ivory, and he cannot get to the 30-yard line as the Giants stiffen, and he has to get to the 30-yard line for a first down.
Ben, this is an example of what I said earlier. Under the present rules, you have to be careful you don't run the football too much. You gotta throw it enough to take advantage of the limitations and the diluted pass defense. You have great field position, and you run the ball 3 times. Now they're going to have to probably go for it with 2 tight ends. I see Bill Larson in there.
The ball, the nose of the ball, and the 30-yard line is what they need, inches. Kaufman on the left side. Swanke is in there now, and Larson is a tight end on the right side, but he goes in motion. And they're going to go that way, and it's Ivory. And he's to the 20, bumped out of bounds by Wolford on a great play. They had the tight end go in motion to the left, and that's the way Eddie Ivory went.
And you know what? Nobody even bothered to cover Larson when he went out in motion. You can't see it all the way on the picture. Pretty good hole. Ivy breaks a tackle. Now here comes Larson blocking Mike Dennis. Almost scored, but they let Larson go. They knew Larson was a decoy. They weren't going to throw to him, and played the run. They still made the first down.
Gary Wolford finally knocking Ivory out of bounds. So it's 1st and 10 on the Giant 13. This time Turdell Middleton, and they stacked him up at the 10-yard line.
Middleton, I was looking at the stats, Ben. I believe Middleton's yards per carry was something like 2.8, and he's a heck of a back. I like him. I think he's a good back. For some reason, his average is down this year. Usually you have to break a long one to get that average up there.
Turdell Middleton has rushed for 2 touchdowns, because he had a lot of injuries last year. He's probably still not 100%. So 2nd and 7, the ball is on the 10-yard line for the Packers, trying to catch the Giants. Thompson goes wide right. Lofton is wide left. Play action fake to Middleton. They throw to Lofton, and the Giants read it. Scorpan knocks him down at the 15. John Scorpan read the play nicely to make the tackle.
Scorpan's playing good football. Here's a play action screen to Lofton. Good call right in here. However, the Giant defense played it very well. They contained it, made them cut back, turn in. When that happens, the timing has to be bing, bing on it to make the yardage. Once you start losing ground on that, you're in trouble. They lost yardage.
So it is 3rd and 12 on the Giant 15. And remember, Lynn Dickey needs 1 more pass completion to break John Hadel's record for most in a year, and he has 11 right to this point. Middleton and Elf behind Dickey. And he's completed it to Ellis. Flag on the play. And Ellis will take it in, but now let's find out about the flag. If that goes, Jim Tunney will tell us. And it's going to be against Green Bay. And look at Zeke Ratkowski and Bart Starr.
That's a tough break for the Packers. And you know, that guy, Ellis, showed his running ability. He made a juke. He made a move on there like a 180-pound halfback. I think Bart Starr came up with a fine young prospect in Ellis.
Here's to the offense, number 69, 10 yards, still 3rd down.
So it's illegal use of the hands on the offense by Leotis Harris. So a tough penalty to make it 3rd and 22 instead of a touchdown on the Giant 25. Remember, the Packers had it 1st and 10 on the Giant 13. Out goes Kaufman. Cassidy goes wide left. Thompson and Lofton goes slot right. Dickey, Ray Anderson, and Turdell Middleton are the running backs. The pass is picked up by Lofton. No good. No reception.
The ball was low. He had no chance. Lofton went in motion. Here's the rush. Tabor was right in Dickey's face. Lofton made a good effort. The ball was on the turf.
So James Lofton has caught 2 today. And of course, for Lynn Dickey, he is as frustrated as Lofton. He had what he thought was the touchdown to tie it up, and that was nullified by the penalty. And now he just misses on the pass to Lofton. So here is Tom Burney. He is 4 for 7 in field goals. He missed 1 today. And that's not going to make it. Not even close.
Oh, they needed that, Ben. They didn't have good timing on that.
Let's take another look. The hold by Beverly is all right. And there's the kick, and it just went nowhere. So Burney and the Pack come up empty, and they are frustrated.
Introducing a small wonder, the new Toyota Starlet. Born small to solve big problems. Born small to deliver more miles per gallon of gas than any other car, and designed to help beat higher maintenance costs. The very new Toyota Starlet. Born small. In fact, it just may be the first small wonder of the world.
Oh, what a feeling.
Starlet.
Toyota.
Looks like this big old hole.
Offensive linemen McCarron, Cook, and Harris huddling on the sideline to figure out what happened. The Packers had it 1st and 10 on the Giant 13. And they had to give up the ball on the Giant 25. Play action fake by Sims. Butler putting some heat, but he finds Bo Matthews. And Matthews goes out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. He has to get to the 35 for a 1st down.
Then what you just said, when you get field position, you have to take advantage of it. There's no excuse. When you get field position like that, you have to come away with points.
You know, the last 2 times the Packers had the ball, they had good field position. They finished the half. They had it 1st and 10 on the Giant 42 and gave it up. And, of course, 1st and 10 on the Giant 13, and they came up empty again. 2nd and 2 from the 33. Play action fake to Larry Heater. Sims over the middle, dropped by Mike Freedy. So Freedy, who had caught 7 last week for 137 yards, couldn't hold on to that one.
And that was perfect execution. Here's Sims going back to pass. It's a post pattern to Mike Freedy. Right in there. Watch his head. He's not looking that ball in.
He had visions of running with the ball before he had it. Mike has already caught 3 passes today. He and Ernest Gray have each caught 3, but of course 2 of Gray's have been for touchdowns. So it's 3rd and 2. In motion is Larry Heater. On a 3rd and 2, Sims is going to run, and he gets out across the 35, apparently the 1st down.
Sims has pretty good pass protection today. Now watch this. 3rd and 2, going back to pass. See, he's got time to throw. Good coverage by the Packers. Now he decides to run to try to get the 1st down.
Watch where he goes down, because they have spotted the ball even short of the 35-yard line. Once Sims saw that the intended receiver was blanketed, he took off, and he did not get the 1st down. It was one question of where he went down, and the crowd is unhappy.
Well, then what you said was right earlier. You never know where they're going to spot the ball. See? So it's real difficult to say it's a 1st down or it isn't. They spotted the ball back a little bit that time. It looked like he had the first down.
And now an entire new unit comes rushing in trying to catch Green Bay. And the time called by Green Bay.
Well, that's getting ready for a quick snap. That's why the Packers had too many men on the field earlier. Do you remember that?
Right, and Phil Simms over there talking to Ray Perkins. Remember, it's a 4th and inches. They were hoping that Green Bay would be caught. They just did clear the field, but evidently there might have still been 1 or 2 extras, so they called timeout instead.
You know, there's a happy medium of when to pass and when to run. Now, Simms' protection is pretty good. He's holding that ball quite a while. The Packer coverage has been good. Now when he decides to run, there's just too much of a delay in there to pick up a few yards. Of course, that's the last thing he wants to do is run. If he makes up his mind a little earlier to run, he has the first down.
Well, now Dave Jennings will be punting from his own 20-yard line, kicking into the wind. Ron Cassidy is standing on the Packer 20-yard line. Up in front of him are Lee and Gray. But it's a line drive kick that will be through the hands of Cassidy. He'll pick it up at about the 8-yard line, and down he goes. The first man to get to him was Kelly Solfeld, number 59, who is the center. And is he happy about it? You know why? Because he was originally drafted by the Green Bay Packers.
He likes to get a little revenge.
So the Green Bay Packers will put it in play, 1st and 10 from their own 9. So a moment ago, they had great field position on the Giant 13. Now in poor position and a long way to go. Ivory out to the 15-yard line. Marion on top, Van Pelt and Jeter at the bottom. A couple of scores of other ball games. The Falcons stunned when the Saints took a lead, but Atlanta asserting itself now 17-7.
Ball carried by Ivory.
The Cardinals jumped out in front of the Cowboys, who are trying to regroup, having lost here last week, and it's 14-10 Cardinals. The Vikings leading Tampa Bay 21-13 in a division that is very much up for grabs. Lee Ivory trying to battle his way to the 20-yard line.
You know, Ben, just what you said, division up for grabs. The Bears are in last place, 4-6. They can win this. The Packers could win this Central Division with 8-7-1. Anybody can win the division. It's wide open.
Zeke Bratkowski doing a little cheerleading on the sidelines to indicate a first down.
Well, Ben, I'll repeat myself. The Packers have to open up a little bit more. They've been a little bit too conservative, and especially, again, with present-day rules, you've got to get the happy medium between run and pass. If you overrun, you're going to come in on the short end of the score.
So with 9 minutes and 9 seconds, let's see the play that was obviously called by Zeke Bratkowski now. A tray backfield, Kaufman, the tight end, now up on the line. Second man, and it's Ivory out to the 25-yard line.
Well, he's hammering away to get field position.
George, I guess the football expression, you have to establish the rush, is now disappearing like the buffalo.
Well, you know, we've done games this year where a quarterback will come out and start throwing on the first play of the game. Brian Sipe is a good example of that. They're going to throw the ball 40 times or whatever it is, and just mix in a run to keep the defense honest.
2nd and 4 from the 25-yard line. Andra Thompson goes wide right. James Lofton wide left. Ivory and Ellis, the running backs, behind Dickey. Ellis gets out across the 30, and from our angle would appear he has made the first down.
I don't know. I'm sure Dickey is aware of this, but the last 2 times he snapped that ball with exactly 1 second left on the 30-second clock. They're taking quite a bit of time calling that play.
And score on the tackle. First down.
1st and 10 on the Packer 31. We figured that Dickey, a 10-year veteran, was calling his own plays, but he is not taking them all.
No, he's calling some on his own. Some are being signaled in.
Kaufman, the tight end, stays in the backfield. Martin, and now Scorpan, and the pass no good. Ellis was close to the pass, and a lot of heat by the linebacker on the right side, John Scorpan.
Scorpan was right in on him, and again, the ball was snapped with 1 second left on the 30-second clock.
Frank Corral kicking a field goal in the third quarter, and that one's tightening up. The Patriots 14 and the Rams 10. It is a particularly big game for the Rams to be losing while Atlanta is winning. So it is a second down and 10. Ball on the Packer 31. You can watch Dickey run down the clock. Hesitates, throws, no good. It was intended for Kaufman. Harry Carson broke it down.
Great play by Harry Carson, and he used the right arm to reach over and knock it down. If he uses the left arm, he could be called for interference. Big play by Carson. Must make him feel good after coming back, being on the injured reserve.
Been a tough year for Carson. Earlier this year, he said he'd had enough. He was going to quit. Then he came back, then to be injured, and now returning. So 3rd and 10 on the Packer 31-yard line. Lofton and Thompson right. Cassidy goes left. Whoa, Dickey almost lost it. Myron Lapka hit him, and the ball looked like a glass on a wet tray, but somehow he held it, and then Whittington brought him down. Watch the football.
Yeah, watch Lapchek, 71. They're running a stunt, taking inside, and keep coming. He just got a piece of him, but it threw him off balance, almost fumbled the football.
Myron Lapka, 71, making the hit, and then Whittington falling on top of him. And now David Beverly will be punting again with the wind from about his own 10-yard line. Alvin Garrett and Beasley Priest are back to handle the ball. Low bouncing kick, hits at midfield, and it's down at the 49-yard line by Fred Nixon.
Well, Nixon would have been better off to let that ball bounce a little bit. It looked like you could pick up 8, 10, 15 yards on the roll.
The Giants put it in play. 1st and 10 on their own 49-yard line, with the Giants leading Green Bay 14-7. 6:48 left in the third quarter. Mike Creedy is left. Ernest Gray goes right. Second man out of the eye, Larry Heater, and he's to the 41-yard line.
Well, I tell you, Sims crossed him up there. 1st and 10 from this area of the field. He's been throwing. He got the bomb off of this. This time he runs the ball. A good sound football play and blocking, man-for-man blocking. They pick up 9 yards.
Larry Heater, who rushed for 69 yards against Dallas, has carried for 56 yards against the Pack. And Sims talking to Jim Tunney. And an official's timeout.
This is a nice position to be on offense. You're inches away from a first down. You can go play action. You can get the first down. You can go deep for the home run, or you can run the football.
J.T. Turner hurt his right ankle. So as an injured player, timeout for the moment. And J.T. comes out. John Sinnott in there for him. Larry Heater. Heater busts inside the 40 to pick up the first down. Kurt Allerman there to make the tackle.
Well, he did the sure thing. He got the first down. Now he's in great position again to throw and to go play action and to go deep. Put Ernest Gray deep on the corner. It's been successful.
First down.
So at the Packer 37-yard line, 1st and 10. In motion is Ernest Gray. Play action to Heater. Sims throwing deep. No good. Intended for Ernest Gray. Wiley Turner down there defending in the corner.
Well, that's who he was trying to go for. Play action. to Ernest Gray.
Interesting note about Gray. He caught a 25-yard touchdown pass last week against Dallas. It was his first score since opening day when he set a team record with 4 touchdowns against St. Louis, and Gray has come back today with 2 touchdown catches.
And Gray was trying to run an out and up, but he slowed down a little bit. Sims did the smart thing, overthrow him, don't get the interception.
So it is 2nd and 10 on the 37. Catch inside the 20-yard line, and it looked like there was going to be a collision between Milady and Freedy.
It sure did. Well, what the Packers did then, they fake a blitz, and then they come out of it and just rush with 3 men. Now you got 5 blockers against 3, all day to throw. He reads Freedy coming over the middle. In fact, he had so much time to throw, the 2 receivers were almost together there.
Milady just missed hitting Freedy head on. Look at the Cardinals leading the Cowboys 21-10. In motion is Ernest Gray. 1st and 10 on the Packer 19. Sims throwing to Heater. And Heater makes the catch inside the 5-yard line.
Sims is really doing a job against the Packer defense on 1st and 10. Here we go. Drop back pass. Good protection. He's got the one-on-one. Good catch to Heater. Knocked out of bounds.
First down.
It's 1st and goal on the 3. Heater had caught 7 passes prior to today. Boy, he was wide open on that one. So 1st and goal from the 3. Milady is on a wing outside Shirk to go the other way to Bo Matthews, and they stack him up. That's a question, George. You put 2 tight ends on the left side, and you run away from your strength.
And Bo Matthews looked a little slow in that to me. This is the first he's played today, I believe. I haven't seen him in there. Have you?
He had been in there briefly in the first half, but only briefly.
But not to carry the ball.
Right.
Yeah. So actually they lost yardage on that. This is a good time to go play action and run a crossing pattern to one of your tight ends.
2nd and goal on the 4th. George Martin is in there, but they go the other way, no good. If you remember last week, there's George Martin, a defensive end, and he came in to play end offensively, and he caught a touchdown pass. They put him in today, but it went the other way.
You know, Vin, you only have to do that once, and from then on in, word gets around the league, and they cover him.
It's like putting it on the front page.
Nobody covered him last week.
So 3rd and goal on the 4-yard line.
Here comes the pass rushers in. They're going to play pass. Ezra Johnson's in there.
Mike McCoy comes in. Steve Luke comes out. 3rd and goal for Sims. Sims quick over the middle. Ernest Gray's 3rd touchdown of the day.
Crossing pattern to Ernest Gray. Good call by Sims. Good protection. Here it is.
Ernest Gray, a 2nd-round draft choice last year, went to school at Memphis State. He's found a home in the Meadowlands.
Wide open. Sims had plenty of time to throw. When you have that time down there, you can't cover him.
8 touchdowns this year for Ernest Gray. I don't know what Harold Carmichael is doing, but Carmichael had 8 touchdowns, and Gray would appear to have caught him. The point is good, and the Giants leading the Packers 21-7. 3 minutes and 46 seconds left to go in the 3rd, and that picture tells it all. Joe Danello teeing up the ball on the 35, and the wind continues to blow it off the tee. So Dennis will hold. Lee is deep, flanked by Huckleby and Gray. And he drilled it, did Danello, right through the end zone. So Danello is kicking off as well as we've ever seen him kick, George.
You know, Dickey and the Packer offense is going to have to open up. They're behind 21-7. They still have plenty of time, but they're not going to be able to run the football like they have and play quite as conservative. They've got to make something happen. He has to take control of 1st and 10. The Giant defense has controlled the Packers offense on 1st and 10.
3 minutes and 41 seconds left to go in the third quarter. 21-7 Giants. Dickey to the left side to James Lofton, who takes a lick as he stepped back right where he has to go for a first down. So let's see.
There it is. Now, he's doing that. He's throwing 1st and 10, which has been successful for them in past weeks. Good pass. Lofton stepped out of bounds. Good execution. First down.
He picked it up at the 32-yard line. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins, it is 17-0 in favor of Philadelphia as they go to the fourth quarter. In motion is Kaufman, the tight end. They'll try Eddie Lee Ivory, and he is stacked up at about the 32. George Martin coming in from behind to make the hard hit that caused Ivory to lose his helmet. Lynn Dickey has 3 minutes and 19 seconds left in the third quarter. He is 12 for 20. That pass to Lofton broke John Hadel's record for most pass completions in 1 year as far as the Packer record book is concerned.
You know, Vin, 87, Bill Larson is in there. They picked up Larson as a free agent. I had him in training camp with the Redskins. He was one of our last cuts. He doesn't have the speed you're looking for, but he gives you everything and a little more.
So it is 2nd and 10. Larson in motion to stay in there to block. Now releases. Meanwhile, Dickey goes high, no good. And a flag on the play. Andra Thompson, the intended receiver.
Now, you know, Vin, to me, incidental contact is not necessarily a pass defensive penalty. And this is pretty good defense by 36. Mark Haynes. You see that? I think that's pretty good defense, but they call that. Any incidental contact now is a defensive penalty.
It is a 19-yard pass interference penalty that moves the ball to the Giant 49-yard line and gives the Packers a 1st and 10. Thompson goes right, Lofton goes left. Play action fake to Ellis. And it's to Lofton, and he makes a miraculous catch. Well, you see this on a replay. What a catch by James Lofton.
Now, this is the Dickey I expected to see. 1st and 10. Going back, play action. Lofton running a deep post. Just using his speed, he's pretty well covered. He concentrates on the ball that's perfectly thrown. A big play. Tremendous execution.
Lofton beating Mike Dennis on that pass. Goes down just inside the 5-yard line, so it is 1st and goal on the Giant 5 for Lofton. That 4th and rather miraculous pass ties him with Don Hudson for 50 catches 2 consecutive years. Well, I'll tell you one thing, he's in great company.
He certainly is.
In motion is Larson. They'll go to Ivory. Is drilled out of bounds at about the 4. Scorpan almost had him behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, Dickey's doing what we said. He's opening up a little bit, and that's what he has to do. When you're behind, again, with the present structure of the NFL, you got to throw that football to win. You aren't going to beat many teams just hammering away. There are very few Earl Campbells.
With 1 minute and 34 left in the third quarter, it is 21-7 Giants, but the Packers are very much alive thanks to a pass interference call and then that bomb to James Lofton. So 2nd and goal from the 4. Play action fake, and the pass is to Ellis. All alone for the touchdown.
You know what? That's all what Larson did. Larson marked time and went in motion and actually picked off the coverage man. It's a legal play. I don't know whether we can see it. See Larson, 87 in there? He's picking off the man that is supposed to cover Ellis, 31. That's why he's so wide open. It's a heck of a call right in here. Great call right in here.
So Ellis, who had scored his 4th touchdown of the year rushing, comes up with his 3rd touchdown of the year passing. He has scored both Packer touchdowns today. Bernie kicking out of a hole by Beverly is good. We have ourselves a game with 1:29 left in the 3rd quarter. Giants 21, Packers 14.
Here's the touchdown again. Play action. And Larson comes in motion, marks time. You can just see him in there, picking off the defender, making him go around him so he can't get into his coverage.
So the Green Bay Packers set up on a beautiful pass from the quarterback Lynn Dickey to his wide receiver James Lofton, finally score on a pass to Ellis. It is 21-14 Giants, and Alvin Garrett will take it at his 7. They make it Beasley Reese who is back there, and Reese brings it out to the 29. So all day Garrett went deep, and this time Reese decided to go back and handle it, and we'll see now if the Giants can get something going from their own 29.
Kind of a short kickoff. He got the ball about the 9-yard line. Let's see what Sims does 1st and 10 again. Dickey opened up on 1st and 10. It paid dividends for him.
The Giants send Freedy and Gray in a slot right. The running backs are Heater and Matthews. Matthews stays in to block, and the pass all alone is Ernest Gray. Gray is across the 40-yard line.
You see, then that's what you have to do. You gotta open up 1st and 10. Here he's going back. He's going against a 3-man rush. Plenty of time to throw. Wide open. Good catch. Runs another 15 yards with the ball after the catch.
So from the Giant 29, they move the ball on the pass to the Packer 38. 1st and 10. Larry Heater, this time stymied. Terry Jones and Kurt Alderman hit him. Ernest Gray having a big day, 5 catches. Meanwhile, north of us at Foxborough, Massachusetts, the Rams have come back to take the lead over the New England Patriots, 17-14. With the Falcons winning last we heard, that's just about a must-win for the Rams.
And also the Patriots have to win to stay in pace with Buffalo.
The Green Bay Packers feeling that they have to win. And talking about Ernest Gray a moment ago, he has caught 5 passes for 113 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And nearly everything's been deep to him. I thought this last down, he'd go deep again, go play action. This is great field position to throw for a score.
In case you weren't with us in the opening moments, Green Bay kicked off to the Giants, and 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line, Phil Simms hit Ernest Gray for a touchdown. So the Giants had the ball a total of 6 seconds and had 7 points.
And you know, when you go deep like that, then faking a run first before you throw, the worst you ought to get out of it is an incomplete pass. You overthrow rather than underthrow. You throw a quick pass so that if your protection fails, you still get it off, you don't get sacked. It's a very safe play in this area of the field.
Phil Simms has 29 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The Giants are working into the wind. The St. Louis Cardinals leading the Dallas Cowboys 21-17. Danny White passing 68 yards to Tony Hill in the 2nd quarter to make it 21-17. 29 seconds, 2nd and 10. In motion is Ernest Gray. And whoa, did he go early. Simms is going to crank up and throw. But Ernest Gray, he started long before the count. He was downfield.
That's the trouble with motion. He was going downfield before the snap, and Simms showed some maturity. He threw the ball away. threw the ball away rather than risk an interception or a sack. It was a broken pattern, and he knew that the penalty was on his ball club. That's the other thing.
The motion penalty against the Giants refused. You can take another look. Watch Ernest Gray. There he goes. I mean, that's about as obvious as you can be. And then, as George mentioned, Sims just threw the ball out of the ballpark.
Green Bay is substituting every down back and forth.
So it is now 3rd and 10 on the 38. It's Heater in motion. High down the left side. Mike Freedy. What a catch inside the 10-yard line.
It looks like they found somebody in this guy. Green Bay dogs on this. Green Bay comes in and dogs him, so it's one-on-one. Now watch Freedy. The ball is actually overthrown. He dives on the fingertips.
Great catch. Mike Freedy is a rookie from Indiana who was released by Detroit. The Giants picked him up. He made his first start last week and caught 7 passes.
And that was excuse me, Ben, that was a great throw also.
So first and goal on the 9. Larry Heater with Matthews, but he just runs too far outside. Jim Gano turning it back in. Take another look at that Mike Freedy marvelous catch on the pass from Phil Sims.
And here it is. Sims is going back. The Packers have dogs, so it means one-on-one. Freedy has them beaten, but the ball is overthrown, and he makes a diving fingertip catch.
So that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, the Giants 21 and the Packers 14. We now pause for a word from your local station.
It's the old...
Phil Sims is 14 for 26 today for 264 yards, and he's never going to get a better reception than this one from Mike Freedy, 6'3", 200-pounder, fully extended. Watch this fingertip catch for yet another angle.
If he doesn't have to jump and dive for the ball, he would have scored. He could have taken it right in stride. That last shot shows the Packers dogging, creating that one-on-one situation.
So it is a 2nd and goal on the Packers' 7-yard line. Sims asking for quiet. He has Bo Matthews and Larry Heater. In motion is Ernest Gray. Sims looking over the right, throws through the hands of Gray. Threw it hard and a little low, and the only way Gray could have held on to it would be strictly with his fingertips. Let's get an update to Brent Musburger and NFL Today.
All right, Benny, thank you very much. The Dallas Cowboys and the St. Louis Cardinals, full throttle, 5 touchdowns, averaging 53 yards, including this 59-yarder from Danny White to Tony Hill. Cowboys kicked the extra point, and now it's 21-17. Back to Ben Scully.
Well, Dallas trying to recover from the Giants against St. Louis. The Giants, meanwhile, trying to keep it going against the Packers. Sims on the run. No good. It was Mark Lee breaking it up, intended for Ernest Gray.
And Sims is very fortunate Mark Lee didn't pick that off. Once you roll out and scramble, it's very difficult to read the coverage, and he put that up for grabs. He threw it right to Mark Lee. No chance to get that in. Good play by Mark Lee.
So it is 4th and 7. Scott Brunner, the holder, number 12, blowing on his hands, getting them ready.
Let's see the snap here. Let's see what type of...
The hold will be at the 15-yard line, so it's a 25-yard field goal. Danilo has kicked 6 of his last 7 field goals and 9 for 16 this year. And the kick is up. It is good. With 14 minutes and 46 seconds left in the ball game, the Giants...
Mark Lee.
We have 14:46 left in the game. The Giants leading the Packers 24-14. Joe Danilo will be kicking with the wind. Into the wind, he has kicked the ball through the Packer end zone. Let's see what he does with a tailwind. He doesn't kick it nearly as far. Is that whack? It'll be handed by Mark Lee. And Lee takes a lick just as he crossed the 30-yard line. Whittington hit him along with Myron Lapka.
Now, Mark Lee did a good thing there. Showed some athletic judgment smarts. He came in like an outfielder and had to get that ball in the dead run. Just as you said, that was almost a squib kick. He caught the ball close to the 20-yard line.
Myron Lapka almost dislodged him from the ball. A rather courageous grip by Mark Lee. First and 10 on the Packer 31. In motion is Kaufman, the tight end. Dickey throwing to Kaufman, the tight end, across the 40-yard line. Not quite enough for a first down. Yard line. Thompson right and Lofton left. They're going to give it to Jerry Ellis, looking for daylight, and he has found it. He's out across midfield for the first down.
That Ellis is an elusive back. He was trapped there for a loss, or maybe no gain. He put on the brakes, cut back, got arm tackles, and picked up a first down.
So from the 41, he goes to the Giant 49-yard line. Ellis has now averaged better than 6 yards a carry.
Tremendous.
10 carries for 66 yards. In motion is Kaufman. They're going to go on a draw to Ellis. And even though Van Pelt took the ball from him, Brad Van Pelt hit him and took the ball away from Jerry Ellis. Flag on the play.
Looks like there's a late hit there. A great play by Brad Van Pelt. Let's watch it. Here's a draw to Ellis. Now watch Van Pelt come in and take the ball right there. He actually tackled the ball, Van. Took it right out. Picks it up and returns it. Big play for the Giants.
Let's listen to Jim Tunney, the interpretation of the flag.
Foul during the run back. Giants ball, first down.
So a personal foul during the run back, I believe it was against Beasley Reese. The Giants, however, get their hands on the football on their own 44-yard line, leading 24-14. The Giants capitalizing on a big turnover now with 13 minutes left in the game. The Giants lead 24-14. They have it first and 10 on the Giant 44. Matthews and Heater out of the eye. Larry Heater is grabbed by Terry Jones right at the waist and dropped right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, the Giants line up in the I formation on first down, runner pass. That time Sims figures, hey, we're 10 points ahead. I won't take a chance to throw, and I'll run the football. No gain. Lost a yard.
Second and 11 on the Giant 43. Ernest Gray, having a tremendous day, is wide right. Second man is Heater. Heater getting out across the 45 to about the 47. He has to get to the Packer 46-yard line to get a first down.
Now he has to throw, Van. He ran both the early downs. 3rd and 7, he has to throw. That's
Sims
the situation you don't want.
Is 14 for 28, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dickey is 15 for 23, 200 yards, 1 touchdown. So 3rd and 7. Ball on the Giant 47-yard line. Has his man, and it's Mike Freedy making another fine catch at the Packer 35-yard line. Freedy has now caught 6 passes. He's the #1 receiver again in the game.
Well, you see, you can use 5 defensive backs, which is the nickel. You can use 6. Ezra Johnson got a delivery sack. But if you can't jam those guys a little bit and throw them off their timing, quarterbacks are going to complete passes until the cows come home. Doesn't matter how many defensive backs you have there. You got to rush the quarterback first, jam them second.
Ernest Gray goes wide right. First and 10 on the Packer 35-yard line. Second man, Larry Larry Heater. Heater had trouble. Simmons was trying to block for him, but Simmons had slowed up to try and get an angle to get a block off, and when he slowed up, that jammed up the play.
The Packers defense played the run perfectly. 2nd and 10.
That's James Lofton, bundled up on the sidelines. He has had another marvelous day. 4 catches for 72 yards. He made a picture reception that led to the Packers' last touchdown.
And most of the time he's double-teamed, Ben.
Remarkable player. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Play action fake to Bo Matthews. Sims fumbles, but the Giants recover. Simmons fell on top of it.
And the guy that caused it is number 90, Ezra Johnson. Here, watch the left of your screen. Watch number 90 come in and hit Sims from the side. Here he comes, right here.
3rd and 15.
So Sims saved by Simmons, who fell on the ball like a mattress.
Yeah.
And it's 3rd and 15 from the 40-yard line of Green Bay. He'll send Freedy and Gray wide left. Mullity, the tight end, is on the right side. And let's see. I think
probably there's something on the ball.
Another ball. Yeah.
Yeah, there might.
Yeah, they didn't like the ball.
Yeah.
Jim Clack had gotten over the ball. Clack, number 56, the center for the Giants. And then suddenly Sims backed off.
Terry Jones is over Clack.
In motion goes Larry Heater. Let's see. Time, 9 minutes and 33 seconds left in the game. Sims is a little steamy now on a cool afternoon.
Too much time.
Bill, a bit hot under the collar. And they change.
3rd and 20. Penalty against the Giants.
It's probably a stick of the ball.
It's cold enough to use it today. So it's 3rd and 20 on the Packer 45-yard line. Sims over the middle. It was Ernest Gray. Boy, he was coming into tough territory that time. That was no bomb. That was going into no man's land.
3rd and 20. You throw underneath. Your chances, your percentages of picking up a first down are very limited. The Packers played good defense. Gray's right there with them.
So now 4th and 14. Dave Jennings calmly surveying the scene, and he's not ready yet. Ticking, 1 second. High end over end. It's going to hit on the 6-yard line. And did they down it? They did. Beasley Reese got down there to down it inside the 1-yard line.
That is a great play by Beasley Reese. A fantastic play by Beasley Reese. He got his body between himself and the ball. Here it is. And would not let it go in. Touched it, went out in the 1-yard line.
NFL Cheerleaders, a wild motocross competition. Next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular. The Packers, with 16 seconds left on the 30-second clock, and 8 minutes and 31 seconds left in the game. From inside their 1, Dickey is going to pass in the end zone, and he goes deep to Lofton, and Lofton makes the reception, and a flag on the play. Mike Dennis might have gotten a face mask.
You know, I was just going to say, what a time to go play action out of the end zone, take a chance to go deep, and that's exactly what he did. He had the time. Look at Lofton, just using his speed. He's got Dennis beaten. Now watch him jump and take it away.
Watch Dennis, see if he gets the face mask. Not there, still coming up. Right there, it was not Dennis,
No.
it was Wolford who got him, and
Wolford.
the face mask is called.
Number 20.
So we saw a hand on the mask as he made the reception.
What a big play. Great execution by Lynn Dickey.
So to the Giant 47 from inside the 1. That's a 53-yard pass play. Thompson right, Lofton left. Ellis and Ivory are the running backs. Play action fake to Ivory. Dickey in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Kaufman.
Well,
and Ellis seems confused. I think Ellis thought the pass was to him.
That's exactly what happened. Now watch Ellis turn around and get his hands up. Watch 31 come out and run a stop pattern and get his hands up, and he actually touches the ball. And that's what made Kaufman fumble it, took his eye off the ball.
So it is 2nd and 10 on the 47-yard line of the Giants. We have 8 minutes and 15 seconds left. 24-14 Giants, and the Packers trying to capitalize on that 50-yard pass to Lofton. Dickey to Lofton at the 31-yard line.
Now,
Mark Haynes staying with him. Another fine reception for James.
And the Giants just came in with 3 men. Dickey has all day to throw. Here it is. Lofton's the guy that he wants to go to. He's open. The ball's drilled right in there. Dickey's throwing on first down. He's opening up.
5 passes for Lofton today to give him 51 for the year. Freedy and Gray have each caught 6 for the Giants. 1st and 10 on the Giant 31. Lofton left, Thompson right. Play action to Ellis. They set up a screen on the left side and they overthrow Ivory.
Yeah. That's that what I call that run screen on 1st and 10, and Scorpion, number 57, had him covered. Threw it away.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 for Lynn Dickey. 7:28 left in the game. 24-14 Giants. The Giants have led all the way since the first play from scrimmage, a 50-yard touchdown pass from Phil Simms to Ernest Gray. The Packers caught him 7-7. The Giants led 14-7. It's now 24-14 Giants. Dickey hesitates, throws right into the hands of Frank Marion, and the big linebacker brings it back to the 24-yard line. Frank Marion picked it off.
The words you used, hesitation, is the reason the ball was intercepted. Now watch Dickey. See? You see that? See that short little pump? That gave Marion the time to get over and intercept it. Knock it down, intercept it.
CBS starts with 60 minutes. Then on Archie Bunker's Place, Archie meets his match when he hires a housekeeper. It's all tonight on CBS. By the way, for the Marching and Chowder Society of Frank Marion, that was the first interception of his career. 4 years out of Florida A&M. Marion got his name in the papers by blocking a point after against Washington. But now he picks off a big pass to stymie Lynn Dickey and the Green Bay Packers. 7:20 left in the game. 24-14 Giants. From the 24, Larry Heater trying to get inside, and he's out to about the 28-yard line.
And then again, going back to that pass, the reason it was intercepted is that Dickey hesitated just a little bit, made a short arm action, which allowed Marion to get back to the weak hook.
There were already 2 men double teaming Lofton, and yet he did throw it in a crowd. And would that not be a report on Dickey that he has a tendency to force a throw?
Well, in that particular case, Lofton was covered, and that's why he hesitated. And he tried to get it in anyway. Exactly.
19 interceptions surrendered by Lynn Dickey this year. Perry and Heater, and it's Heater diving out across the 30-yard line. Perry battling Mike Douglas head-to-head, and they're hot and pushing each other now just to the right, and they finally calm him down. Leon Perry, number 30, was throwing a block on the linebacker Mike Douglas, and they kept bumping maybe 10 yards down beyond the line of scrimmage. Both got a little angry.
You know, when Marion was in the World Football League, we tried to sign him. We talked to him several times, but he felt that Redskins had too many linebackers, so he signed with the Giants. He's been a real addition. They got him for nothing. He was a free agent.
The 3rd and 3 on the 32. Ernest Gray is in motion. And Sims on a keeper. And wow, the ball is loose after the hit. Mike Douglas, number 53, almost took Sims' head off. It's a good thing that Sims went into that slide. So Douglas going to try and shorten him by several inches.
Yeah,
Watch
here it is. Sims didn't want to run. It's an afterthought. And here he is running. Now watch Mike Douglas come over. Goes for Sims high. Sims fumbles the ball, but it was ruled dead.
Allman hit him on the ground, causing the fumble, but after the whistle and the scramble still picked up the first down. Remember, it was 3rd and 3.
Well, the Packer defense, right here is where the Packer defense has to turn it around for them to get back. They need to get a score. They have to get on the board.
You know, the Packers had it first down on the Giant 13-yard line and didn't score. Boy, do they wish they had those plays back.
That's right.
1st and 10 on the Giant 34. Leon Perry, and down he goes. He got across the 35-yard line. The Browns and the Steelers have one going. It is 13-9 Cleveland. The Cleveland punter was tackled in the end zone for a safety to account for the 2 points for the Steelers in the 4th quarter.
You know, in this situation now with 4:49, here's where your defense has to stop the run first and the pass second. Have to play the run over the pass.
2nd and 8 on the Giant 36-yard line. 4:34 left in the game. Giants leading 24-14. Sims hesitates to the right. Goes deep to Shirk, the tight end, and he can't hold it. Johnny Gray came over and drilled him.
Well, I tell you what, Johnny Gray made a great play. But Shirk
won't think so, huh?
Yeah, is wide open, and he hit him too late. Look at the time he has to throw. All day to throw. Look at that. Now, look at how wide open Shirk is. But he had to wait for the ball. By the way, I like that Johnny Gray.
No, Johnny Gray is only 185 pounds. Shirk is 220.
Right.
Gray, making his 85th consecutive start, is the only man to come back for this game today that played in the Giant Packer game of 1975.
He's tough. He gives you everything and a little bit more.
3rd and 8 from the 36. Sims is going to be sacked. Ezra Johnson got him low, and half the Packers got him high.
Well, the Packer defense did their job, forcing them to punt. Still plenty of time.
4 minutes and 17 seconds. Ezra Johnson, who made that sack, has done a good job as expected. He's quick. 240 pounds. He has to be in there. Going deep now is Estes Hood. Ron Cassidy, however, is back on the 27-yard line. A beautiful punt by Jennings sends Cassidy to the 20. Chased by Myron Lapta, but he got away from Lapta, and Scorpan finally knocked him out of bounds.
Cassidy did a good thing then. He outran the coverage, and he got out of bounds and stopped the clock. The hang time on that punt was 4-1.
So with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game, the Giants leading 24-14, and Lynn Dickey, who squandered a chance. They had it 1st and 10 on the Giant 31, and you had the Frank Marion interception. Earlier, they had it 1st and 10 on the Giant 13 and came away empty.
He needs a big play, probably to Lofton again.
Well, Lofton goes wide right. Andre Thompson goes wide left. Ellis and Ivory are the running backs. And Dickey across to Lofton, and Lofton is across the 40 to the Giant 37-yard line.
Well, that's just what we said. He needs a big play and probably to Lofton. Now, what the Packers did there was very good. They kept 6 blockers in. against 3 rushers. Here's Lofton going down the field. See, Dickey has all this time to throw, and even though you double him, if the quarterback has that much time to throw, he'll run away from the inside man on double coverage.
Mike Dennis finally coming over to take him down. 1st and 10, both backs release. Dickey hesitates, throws. He's got Ellis, and Ellis is upended by Wolford. Goes out of bounds inside the 10.
Again, Vin, 6 blockers against 3 rushers. Watch it. Dickey can write a song. No, doesn't have to throw there. Look, he pumped all day to throw. One-on-one.
Reese finally knocking him out, or else Ellis might have made it.
Ellis made a good low catch below the knees.
So they'll mark the ball at the 8-yard line. Mike Freedy, who so far today has caught a half a dozen for 107 yards, has evidently paid the price. And Freedy, suffering a neck injury, is on the sideline. 1st and goal on the 7-yard line for Lynn Dickey. Play action fake to Ellis. Pass in the end zone to Lofton. What a catch! Yes, a one-handed catch by Lofton.
The ball was actually overthrown. Lofton made this drive himself practically. Let's see if we can see that again. Dickey went play action. Here it is. Lofton in motion. Dickey has the time. Watch the one-handed catch. It stuck, and he stayed in bounds. Great.
For Lofton, that's his 3rd touchdown receiving this year. Lofton having a big day, has caught 8 passes for 175 yards and a touchdown. It is 24-20, and the kick makes it 24-21, and we still have plenty of football. Let's take another look at a catch that hasn't been seen around these parts since Willie Mays went away. Dickey setting up Lofton on a great circle route, and look at this right hand. You'd think there was a glove on it. Poetry in motion. Then again, you could put another caption and say an artist at work. But any way you want to cut it, here's as good a touchdown catch as you'll see. Lynn Dickey to James Lofton, and watch that right hand. Up and somehow held on to it, kept both feet in the end zone, and the touchdown.
And that's the thing. Normally that could have taken him out of bounds. He dragged his foot in his knee.
3 minutes left. A high pop fly kickoff to Alvin Garrett. He'll take it at the 13. Garrett boxed in, got away, ran into the hands of Jolly, fought his way across the 20 up about the 22.
Now, then it's again up to the Packer defense. They stopped him last time. Dickey took him the length of the field. They can't give him a 1st down here. They might even use some of their timeouts. But 1 1st down could cost them the ball game. They have to stop them.
The Packers have 2 timeouts left, and the Giants have all 3. So they spot the ball on the Giant 22-yard line. 24-21 Giants. 2:49 left in the game. Nate Johnson goes wide right. Mike Freedy is banged up and will not play anymore today. Larry Heater runs into a crowd. Mike Freedy, a very big offensive weapon, had caught a half a dozen for 107 yards. But you might remember that picture we had of Mike on the bench, very, very carefully and painfully moving his head back and forth. And the report from the Giant bench is that Freedy will not play anymore today.
And that's what the Packers did. They used one of their timeouts.
Here are some scores.
Sims going over to huddle with Ray Perkins. 2:38 left. The Packers now have 1 timeout left, and officially the Giants have 2 timeouts left.
In the 3rd period, Los Angeles 17, New England 14.
You know, the other thing here, Ben, is offensively, do you keep the ball on the ground or do you throw it? Do you take a chance and throw it?
You know, the last score that we have, and this is so important to Green Bay, with 8 minutes and 44 seconds left in the 4th quarter, Baltimore is leading Detroit 10-9.
Detroit's really been struggling. That's a final.
And now we get that it's a final score as Baltimore defeated Detroit 10-9. When the game started today, Green Bay trailed by a game and a half. So, of course, Green Bay has a golden opportunity to be only a half a game, and they finish up the year at Detroit. Another final score coming in. The Bills shut out Cincinnati 14-0. 2nd and 9 on the 23. 2:38 left in the game. Sims over the middle to Mulledy. And Mulledy necktied by Estes Hood at the Packer 45-yard line.
Oh, what a big play for the Giants offense. Once the fake to Heater, Melody runs a seam pattern, one-on-one coverage. Perfect throw, perfect catch.
So Estes Hood had him by the neck to bring him down. A pass play that went from the Giant 22 to the Packer 45.
Now that timeout they took backfires on you, Vin. You see? That really backfires on you. You're taking the timeout to keep him at the other end.
And now there is Mike Freedy. We had gotten a report, apparently from the Giant bench, that he would not play anymore. And like so many other reports that we get, there he is. And the one thing, we're happy to see him up and on his feet.
Yes.
Our executive producer, Charles H. Milden III. Our producer, Jim Silman. Our director, Tony Verna. Our thanks to Dr. Bob Woods for all his statistical help today. This has been Scully along with George Allen. Hope you've enjoyed the ride. We have 2 minutes left. It is Giants 24, Packers 21. And Phil Simms huddling with Perkins yet again.
Pittsburgh, 16.
Simms today is 17 for 32. He has passed for 322 yards. For Simms, last week he set a personal record of 351 yards passing against Dallas. The highest since Randy Johnson passed for 372 9 years ago against Philadelphia. Simms getting away from Mike Douglas to the 35, first down at the 30, and goes out of bounds at the Packer 25.
I tell you, Simms has really matured as a quarterback in the time we've seen him. Now that was a heck of a call. That's a bootleg where you fake the ball and you keep it yourself and go around to the weak side. Tremendous call. He wanted to stay in bounds to keep the clock running, but he couldn't.
Mike Douglas appeared to have him in the backfield. He got away from Douglas and then just fought his way for the first down.
Well, Mike Douglas, you don't expect that. Mike Douglas wasn't on balance to make the tackle.
So 1st and 10 on the Packer 20-yard line. A big scramble for Phil Simms. Time running out now, 1:52 as far as the Packers are concerned. And the Giants leading 24-21. Gray goes wide right. Mulledy and Shirk, 2 tight ends. And they go to Leon Perry inside Heater's block. Perry got down to about the 17-yard line with Larry Heater blocking for him.
Offensively, the one thing that you don't want to do here is fumble the football. 2 hands on the ball, protect it, keep the clock running.
Joe Danello, who kicked a field goal earlier, he has kicked 7 of his last 8. He has kicked 10 of 17 for the year. He's warming up on the sideline. Now, Green Bay taking a timeout, which means they have tapped out. No more timeout.
Well, that was wise. That was a smart thing to do. You got to get the football. You can't let that clock run out on you.
It'll be a 2nd and 6 call for Phil Simms. The ball is on the Packers' 16-yard line.
I would think Simms would keep the ball on the ground, run a safe play, a sound play, tell the back to protect the football. Packers defense, they got to tackle the ball. The second man come in, that comes in has to jar the ball loose, try to put his helmet on the ball.
Talking about jarring, no doubt quite a collision today. The Browns and the Steelers, and as you can see, the Steelers getting help with a safety, beat the Browns 16-13.
Steelers had a win today. They had to win that ball game, and they came through.
So Sims has his play, brings it into the huddle. The Giants have one timeout left. They're leading 24-21. There's a minute and 41 seconds left in the game. 2nd and 6 on the Packers 16-yard line. Ernest Gray goes wide right. 2 tight ends. Mulledy on the left and Shirk on the right. And they'll go to Larry Heater, and he took a lick from Kurt Alleman.
Yeah.
Alleman, number 60, charging the submarine to play. Good defensive play by Kurt.
Kurt Alleman has done a fine job for them. He was a good addition to this ball club. He's physical. Watch him come in there.
He's another Penn State linebacker. Spent 3 years with St. Louis, and the Packers picked him up, and he's done a good job up the middle along with Ed O'Neill.
And Ben Heater had 2 hands on the ball. Did you notice that?
Yep.
Protecting that football.
On the 15-yard line, the Giants have it 3rd and 5. In motion is Ernest Gray. Sims leading Heater, and I think he might have caught that.
Heater had a touchdown, but he wasn't looking. Heater had an easy touchdown. That's up. Sims is upset.
Right now, let's go to Brent Musburger for an update at the NFL Today.
Benny, the Steelers stayed alive on this play with 11 seconds to go. Out of timeouts. Roll left by Bradshaw. Lynn Swan works free. They add the extra point. The Steelers come back to beat Cleveland in a dramatic game, 16-13. Both teams now are 7-4. Let's send you back to Vin Scully.
Okay, Brent, wouldn't you know Lynn Swan would surface to make the big play in that game. Joe Danello out of a hole by Scott Brunner at the 23-yard line. A 33-yard field goal is good. And so with 50 seconds left in the game, the Packers trail by 6. Or if you live in these parts, the Giants lead by 6.
Yeah, it'll take a touchdown now to beat them. Big 3 points. They had a touchdown in the previous play. Heater wasn't looking. When he turned around the last minute, he fumbled the football.
So Joe Danello, who has done a solid job of kicking off all day, had a 25-yard field goal to give the Giants a 24-14 lead, and now he kicks one to give the Giants a 27-21 lead.
Here's Ben. Here's where Danello should kick that squib kick, so they can't organize a return.
With 50 seconds left, when the Pack gets the ball, the Giants will probably put 3 men on Lofton.
And no timeouts for the Packers offense.
Going deep is Mark Lee at the 10-yard line. Johnny Gray is standing on his left. Huckleby is on his right. And Joe Danello kicking with the wind from the 35. He kicks a low line drive. It'll land at the feet of Mark Lee. Picks it up at the 10, to the 20, 25, to the 30, 35. Dragged down by Eric Felton.
Good field
and
position.
McLaughlin.
Yeah, good field position for Dickey. He needs one big play in here, Ben. He has to get one bomb again, probably to Lofton.
You don't play man-to-man in this one, do you?
You zone it. The only thing that can beat you is a touchdown. That's what happened to the Jets last week.
You said you zone the field?
Zone the field. Zone the field by thirds. Don't let them get behind you.
Lofton goes left. Thompson goes right. Don Harris is right on Lofton's nose. Dickey lobbing it over the middle, and Ellis drops it.
Ellis was not looking at the football. He was looking where he was going to run. Here it is. The ball's a little behind him, but he should have had it. It wasn't a difficult catch. Watch Ellis's head. See, his head is turned before he puts the ball away.
Go to 2nd and 10. It took up some time. 38 seconds left in the game. Lofton is left. Soft Kaufman is shaken loose on the right side. A run to Thompson, wide right. Dickey down the middle, no good. Lofton couldn't hold it.
Then I like what the Giants are doing for one reason, for one thing. They're coming in with 4 rushmen. They're not giving them that 3-man rush where you can have 5 blockers or 6 blockers on 3 rushmen, and a quarterback has all day to throw.
The LA Rams won a game they felt they had to win as they beat the New England Patriots 17-14. Elvis Peacock scoring from 1 yard out was the last score in that game. 33 seconds left. Dickey over the middle, dropped by Kaufman, the tight end. So there's not much you can do when they start dropping them on you.
That's tough. Dickey should have had 2 completions here and maybe 2 first downs instead of being 4th down with 28 seconds to play. Now he has to. You have 2 decisions here. Do you go for the first down or do you go for the touchdown? In my opinion, you go for the first. Could.
Cassidy is left. Lofton and Thompson go right. Dickey looking right. Throwing, no good. Flag on the play.
Right.
Andre Thompson, the intended receiver.
What a good break. What a break that is for the Packers.
That gets to the Giant 45-yard line. And it's good for a first down. 23 seconds left in the game.
You still zone the field, and you're deep as the deepest. Don't let anyone behind you.
Lofton and Thompson go left. Ellis and Ivory stay in the block. Dickey deep on the left side, in and out of the hands of Andre Thompson. Second,
right.
And Thompson lost it and it hit him in the chest.
Then that's what happened. 22. Watch Felton go up to intercept it. Watch this. He goes up with both hands, deflected the ball.
That's 4 real drops. Eric Felton